Oh my god, it's a gosh darn Sunday. It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday. Sunday, and I'm playing video games on the internet for fun. Hello everyone, welcome back for the stream. The stream, in fact. Who needs sleep when you can stream? So today, it's Mystery Dungeon, and I gotta just say it, right? I like Mystery Dungeon. I don't think that's a shock to the world. I streamed Izuna not all that long ago, and now we're out here playing some other Mystery Dungeon, some Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Red Rescue Team. And I'm playing on the Switch because the Switch is the one where my most recent save file is, and so I feel like I need to do it there, right? Where am I in Dragon Quest? This isn't Mystery Dungeon! This is Mystery Dungeon's great-grandfather! Where am I? Oh, this is nice on a screen like this. Hold up. This is my Dragon Quest III team. This is not Mystery Dungeon. But that's okay. Where the heart am I? I'm in Baharata. Okay. This is where I am in Dragon Quest, by the way. Dragon Quest III, in case folks were curious. This is where I am. Anyway, let's not beat around that gosh darn bush, huh? Let's play some Game Boy Advance library stuff on the Switch. I really should have played this on like my Mister or something rather than do it here, but you know what? I'll live. It's okay. Wario Land 4. Ooh. How did I play Wario Land 4 before? I must have emulated it. Oh well. Sacred Stones. That's fun. That's a good game. We got all these games on here, dude. Like, okay, if you haven't played Golden Sun, every, like, big RPG YouTuber is playing it right now. It's pretty good. I played Golden Sun back when I was a teenager, so, like, I guess it's over 12 years ago now. I probably could stand to replay it, but, whatever. We could play my favorite game. We could play this game, which is pretty good. This game's alright. This one's pretty good. This one's a really good one. This one's a really good one. This one's alright. But no, we're gonna play this one. Why? You know, okay, can I just say, I don't know why that the remake of this game exists. I mean, I understand why that game exists, but I don't understand why they then released this version also on NSO. It's confusing to me, but you know, we'll live. It's Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team. Look at how good this is. Oh yeah. Now this is a video game. If you don't have a pixelated Bulbasaur and Charmander being excited to see a Pelipper, what are you doing? Let's look at our adventure log. Got 444 floors explored. That's a fun one to say. Hill of the Ancients, we got the Fugitives, Meteors, Collision. So, one of the things that I didn't know until I played Shiren the Wanderer is that this adventure log is like directly from that. I'm pretty sure. I haven't played the SNES version of Shiren, but like, I think that's how it is. Hey Foof, how you doing? This is a video game. It's true. Like, I just really like this. So, my squad was Team No Arms because I was a Mudkip and a Torchic. I've recruited Kyogre at this point, and I'm a Marshtomp, so it's pretty good. I have not played this game since playing both Shiren and Izuna. So I've gone through the Mystery Dungeon ringer at this point, and I understand fundamentally, like, why you do certain things in Mystery Dungeon now, compared to, in the past. And I gotta say, I am blown away at how, like, similar the games feel, but also just how radically different they are. And I gotta say, I think I'm a better person, Mystery Dungeon-wise, for having played those games, you know? So, we're at the stage in the game where the game really opens up. And there's a lot of, discussion about, like, how you can find certain things, and where the new things go, right? Okay. Let's see. What is my organize button? Let's take out some items, right? Okay, I don't need to organize my items in storage. That's one of the things that, like, from Izuna, I was so hung up on. One of the things about the Izuna mystery dungeon, Izuna is, the menuing is terrible. The menuing is, like, one of the worst things I've seen in a while. It's fine, but it's also just, like, very cumbersome, and I don't much care for it. So it's fun to see, like, oh yeah, it's fixed when we, play the game that came out somehow before it? There's treasures lying on the ground. There's treasures in the walls! There's treasures in the walls! I think Shiftry knows where the buried relic is. I wonder what's higher than gold rank. I can't imagine it. We're silver rank. Our team got the gold rank, but I think the rescue ranks go even higher than that. So, okay, where I'm at right now is I've unlocked Fiery... I need to go to Great Canyon and visit Xatu. And I can access the buried relic. I'm not going to go to buried relic right now because I think that I am woefully unprepared for anything buried relic related. I don't see any things that are even remotely, like, within my wheelhouse. So my plan today is to basically do a bunch of these post-game dungeons, with no real goal in mind other than to just kind of play. And sort of get a feel for, like, the vibe. I gotta say, I have a very fun relationship with Buried Relic. I made a whole fucking YouTube video about it, like in 2022, which, crazy that that's 3 years ago now. I think I'm gonna get my friendo. Hey Lou, how are you? Gonna Luke, Lork, that sounds good. So I got Weed Lol, I got Magnemoit, I got Longboy, I got Barnaby, I got Combuskin, Zigma, Brogert, Tony Baloney, and Surrounded. Let's go get Combuskin because I would like to have Combuskin on my team. And then we'll go from there. I also didn't know the Discord thing in the bottom shows nicknames in your server. The Discord thingy at the bottom. What do you mean? It's showing up on my chat as Lucari. So the fact that you're saying Lucari is pathetic twink lover, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with liking pathetic twinks. Send me a DM screenshot so I can see this for myself. Oh, yeah. Like the amount of people in my Discord server. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yes, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, because it draws from the Discord server name, right? So for reference, chat, this is what my good friend Lucari, who happens to be in a variety of video games. This is what she's posted on the internet, right? Look, okay, so here's the people in my server, and look, there's Pathetic Twink Lover right on screen, named after her fascination with one Ryuki Kuruto, or Kuruto Ryuki. Yeah, that's the one. So we could go to Howling Forest, we can go to Fiery Field, we can go to Buried Relic. I want to go to Great Canyon just to run through this mission. Fiery Field is, I think, the one that I'm particularly interested in Okay, we do not need to be using Aerial Ace all the darn time. Fiery Field is my current target. I want to clear those field stages, right? I also need to remember that there are not DS controls on this, which is like... That is my one gripe with the NSO version of this game, is that I can't map a button to the Y button. I don't understand why. It's a very poor decision, IMHO. But yeah, so, like I said, I've been playing a lot of Mystery Dungeon, and I've been really enjoying it. I've come to understand my taste in games a lot recently over this last year or so, maybe year and a half even. I really like games that allow me to, like, decide the pace of play. And what I mean by that is I'm not afraid to play, like, tactical games. I'm not afraid to play, like, these really difficult ones. But when I have to contend with action games that are a little more intense, I guess is the way to put it. Like, I like games I can play in bed, you know? I like the games that wait for me to advance the progress. I think that that's really kind of a fun thing. I mean, I think that's just generally the catch-all on my sensibilities. And that's why I like Mystery Dungeon a lot, is because it's a game that I can play for extended periods of time. It's a game that allows me to set the pace of play, and it's a game that is never really quite the same. Now, granted, like I said, I think it's not particularly it's an open secret that I'm working on a very big thing related to Mystery Dungeon, and I feel that saying what I'm saying now about why I like Mystery Dungeon does not detract from... Oh, yeah, right. It does not ruin the surprise, so to speak, of what this project is. I have not given away the thesis statement, but I'm here to kind of, you know, get the vibe, get the footy, you know, get the vibe. So I like this game quite a bit, and I hope to express that in a way that is compelling to folks sometime in the not-so-distant future, perhaps. Not that. I think that, you know, the game's not perfect. Obviously, the game's not perfect. It's... To have a perfect game, there's no such thing except for, like... There's no such thing as a perfect game, and if you think otherwise, you're wrong. But I find that this game is great. This game's really great. Oh, I found Taunt already. Cool. So I'm actually doing great. I just need to get these two missions squared away, and it's good. Something you can't criticize. If you can't criticize something, you don't really truly love it. That's true. I find that it's important to remain, I wouldn't say critical. Like, I don't want to be a hater on the things I like, right? But I have to be realistic. I have to be rational when I say, like, yeah, you know, like, I understand why someone wouldn't necessarily enjoy this game. Hey, Torchic. The way I would. But, like, I like this game. I'm allowed to have an opinion. That's actually something that I think is really, really important to me. Lately... Okay, so I'm gonna start off by talking on a bit of a tangent here. I'm gonna impart some wisdom. I have, you know, I always come into stream with, like, a multitude of topics I could theoretically talk about, especially when I'm playing stuff like Mystery Dungeon, you know? Like, there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of just, like, walking around and talking with people. So, let me first say this. I've been playing Last Defense Academy, the 100 line Last Defense Academy. And I love it. I think it's a fantastic time. I'm so glad that it exists. It is allowing me to return to the filthy Danganronpa fan that I was in my teenage years. And if you have never, like, returned to something that, like, you thought you were better than and then realized, like, no, there is a reason I like this, it's worth your time. And I gotta say, when I first experienced Danganronpa, oh, that's a cheesy little guy. When I first experienced Danganronpa, it was on forums, and it was in Skype calls, and I was not playing the game. I was subjected to the experience of Danganronpa because the first time that I learned about these games was from a guy showing me the executions. So I saw all the Danganronpa executions from the first 2 games before I even knew what they were about. So I had those games entirely spoiled for me from the jump. Which, fine, you know, I didn't have a PS Vita. I wasn't gonna play those games. I didn't have a PS Vita and they weren't even localized, you know? Like, it's fine. When they finally got the localization announcement, I thought that was really cool, but I still probably wasn't going to do it. I don't know if I actually got the reward for Thief. If I didn't, it's whatever. I wasn't really paying attention. That's the magic of this game. And so I came away, you know, when V3 came out, I was an undergrad, so I wasn't really thinking about, like, playing it. And I'm gonna admit it. I was a filthy little VG browser. I never posted on VG, but I was a browser. And I did follow along with, like, Danganronpa General, as awful as that place is. I did not post in there, and I do not condone it. You know, that was a bad place to be. But I gotta say, I got spoiled on V3 because someone posted an outline of every major plot twist. And then they... Oh, never mind. I'm deleting it even though it's gonna give me a Reviver Seed, because, I'm fine. I probably should stock up on Reviver Seeds, but, whatever. In any case, so I got spoiled on V3. And that was too bad. That was really too bad, because I was very excited about V3, but it's my own damn fault, right? I was a little child who wasn't a child, I was like 19, I was 20. I still didn't understand the value of, like, not spoiling everything that you do. And so I ended up being spoiled on V3 and everything that happens in V3, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I like V3 a lot. I don't know what my favorite Danganronpa game is, but that's partially because I've never really played more than, like, 3 chapters of each one, because it's really hard to play a Danganronpa game when you already know what happens. And like, you know, I think that, frankly, there is a point where I start to get really bored with all of them, especially because I have this problem where it's the same thing that prevents me from playing Persona games in a way that feels good, is that I'm always worried that I'm going to be missing out on, like, some kind of, like, important plot thing that is relevant or otherwise. Oh, Karisu Van Edge, thank you so much for the follow. Hey, Stu, lurking, gotta work on my final project. Glad you'll catch your stream. Yeah, for sure. I'm totally game if people want to lurk. Like, this is my yapping hours. Erin is at the library volunteering. She's given me the, hey, dude, you've been very busy these last 8 weeks. Take a weekend to do whatever the hell you want. And that is why I am marrying her. But yeah, so I find that Danganronpa it's my guilty pleasure game. I'm gonna just be so frank about that. Like, I know that for me, Danganronpa, my relationship with Danganronpa is like the same way that some people have with, like, Homestuck. I want to first say that I understand the implications of that. I'm saying I have gone to cons and cosplayed as Danganronpa characters. And I'm okay with that. Like, I wanted to do it. I had fun doing it. I don't feel like I need to do it again, but I had fun doing it, you know? So that's what it is. I gotta get all these fucking friend areas. There's so many of them. So my relationship with that whole series, that whole franchise, like, when I got spoiled on V3, I wrote a Danganronpa outline, and then I proceeded to write about 50,000 words. Granted, I would not say that those were particularly good words, but I did write a 50,000 word Danganronpa. So, like, I need to express, I was a very big fan of Danganronpa. These days, like, I can acknowledge that, maybe they're not as good as I remember them being. I stand by my stance that I think the original Danganronpa game and visual novel, aside from Chapter 2, is an objectively great visual novel. I think it is one of the more impressive visual novels that I've seen in a while. Now, granted, I'm not an expert on visual novels. I'm not the pro, you know? Steins Gate is a game I'd like to play, if not this year, then next year, you know? Like, Steins Gate is on my radar. Ooh, I could do Howling Forest, but I think... Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go... What am I doing? Cleanser, Skateboard, Roll Call. Okay, I'm gonna try doing Fiery Field. I'm gonna save before doing Fiery Field. We're gonna attempt Fiery Field. It's been a while since I've actually done Fiery Field. I'll talk about Fiery Field here shortly, too. I want to finish this Danganronpa thing. But when it comes to Danganronpa... Oh, okay, actually, tangent. So, let me actually talk briefly about Fiery Field, and then we'll return to Danganronpa. So, when I was a kid playing this game, and the whole notion of you have to save your game before going to Fiery Field cropped up, I was very scared because... I didn't like the idea of if I lost everything, and so I would, like, turn off my game if I was about to lose and load from the last save. I, as a kid, couldn't understand the value of, like, why a game would do that. Having played Shiren and Izuna and Torneko, I totally get it now. This is what the true Mystery Dungeon experience is. So we're gonna do this now because it's been a gosh darn minute since I've actually tried doing any of the Fiery Field dungeons, you know? Where I've actually had to give a hoot about, like, my movement strategy. So it's good. So, when it comes down to, Danganronpa stuff... Oh shit, I gotta remember to not be dumb with my moves. When it comes to that, I played a lot of... I did not play a lot of Danganronpa, but, like, I was everywhere. I was watching Let's Plays, I was watching people play it, I was watching streams, I was watching highlights, I was watching, like, all of that shit. I was on that shit, you know what I mean? Do I have an escape orb? I do have an escape orb, cool. That is a holdover from playing Izuna. Let's put it that way. Okay. And then Rain Code came out. The Famicom Detective Club Rain Code came out. And oh, damn it. And I found that was fine. I didn't play that one when it came out because it looked to be more of the same. In the sense that, like, the art style didn't quite gel with me. I found that I wasn't terribly thrilled about it, and, you know, there was something, like, seeing the Danganronpa art style in 3D just felt very uncanny. You know what I mean? And so I didn't end up playing it. My brother played it, and he enjoyed it, as I understand it. And we own it. Like, Aaron and I were like, why don't we play it? Why don't we try it, right? And she got through the first case, kind of, in the game. And then we... Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Nope. That's the one. And then we kind of set it aside because, like, we were, you know, I don't know. Like, there were other things we wanted to do, right? So we ended up setting it aside. And that's fine. I'm not super familiar with what happens in Raincode. I might know one twist, but that's kind of about it. Like, I think Raincode's a cool game on the grounds of, like, it's got the vision, dude. It's got the vibe and the vision. But, like, I don't know. I can't really abide with... Oh, damn it. I can't really abide by the notion of, like, why is Shinigami in a bikini in a barrel when you're playing Hangman's Gambit, right? Like, why? I don't have a problem with it. I guess I do have a small problem with it. It's more like it just feels unnecessary. And I'm not like I am not the type of person who like bristles at fan service. I'm more so the person... Ooh, that could have been real bad. I'm more so the person who just, I don't get it. I don't get why that was the choice that they made. Besides, like, haha, lol, how random. And if that's the decision, then that's fine, but that means that I'm also allowed to feel however I want to about it. I kind of want that. So we didn't really play Raincode. I've played a little... I've watched Aaron play Raincode, right? And now, when I found out 100 Line was coming out, I was like, okay. What is this I see, huh? And... Again, I was on the fence about getting Raincode. Not Raincode, 100 Line. I was on the fence about it. Because I understood that... You know, I didn't get on the Raincode train. I was not like, I wasn't really feeling it, you know? And now, having played about 15 and a half hours of 100 Line, like, yeah, it's Danganronpa, but it's Danganronpa if it was, just a tactical RPG instead of a fast-paced, like, visual novel, which I find to be grand. I think it's so great. I'm having a tremendous time with it. And, again, I was on the fence about the game until I found out that, like, Kazutaka Kodaka took out a loan to make this game, and if it doesn't sell well, he will go bankrupt. He will go into debt. He went into debt to make this game, and... Look, buddy, I don't know about you, but, like, that is, like, Fire Emblem Awakening levels of betting it all on black. And you know what? When someone takes a swing that big, especially when it's a game, a writer that, like, you know what? Sure, I kinda dig his work. Why not? When I see that he's done that, I mean, shoot, right? You gotta check that out. You have got to check that out. And so far, it has been quite fun. It has been quite the time. And I'm not saying that everyone will like the game, but look, if you're Danganronpa filth like me, the game feels so much like it. It is a game for the fans. It is a game for the fans, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, there's literally, in the first 4 hours of the game, there is a 999 reference that also has an Undertale reference inside of it. If that ain't just, like, something you can only get in a game like this, I don't know what is. And I don't want to play a game that, like, wants to be anything but that, especially when it's made by Kodaka. I think that it's very funny, and I would encourage you, if you were even remotely concerned about the game, to try it. Yeah, it's written almost identically in terms of, like, beats and character motivations and whatnot, and the character writing. Like, it's so close to it. It's so close to it that, like, you gotta give it a whirl, right? But I gotta say, playing it is really nice too, because unlike in Danganronpa, it doesn't seem like, at least on my first go of it, I'm only on day 36, please don't spoil me anything, right? It seems like it's one of those games that, like, you know, there might be some character interactions that you can do during free time, but it's not like, you know, if you invest in a thing. Okay, here's one of my biggest gripes with Danganronpa, right? Is that sometimes you choose to spend your free time events with people and then they die, and then you feel like you've wasted your time and you don't get any of the skills that you were, like, trying to invest in, like, the long-term ones, and you can't get those, right? That is, like, one of my biggest pet peeves about the gameplay of Danganronpa. So far, there does not appear to be any of that in 100 Line. And I think that that's great. That's real good. Because it means that the free time to spend with characters, yes, there are things that you can unlock by doing that beyond just, like, getting stat boosts. But, like, it feels a lot more like, oh no. It feels so much more like Fire Emblem Three Houses in the way that you go about choosing to spend your time, or like Persona, because you end up getting options on, like, do you want to train? Do you want to grind? Do you want to make an item for someone to give them as a gift, because then that will help boost your stats? Do you want to spend time with these people, because then you can boost your stats? And, like, yeah, there's funny little quirky character dialogue, but it's never at the point where you feel like there's entire hidden story CGs behind them. At least so far. At least so far. I need to emphasize that. And so I'm really enjoying it for that reason, because I'm so much less concerned about playing it in a way where I want to see all the things my favorite characters are doing. And more so thinking about, like, my battle strategy. Because there's some characters who have skills that I just love using. And then there are some where I'm realizing, oh, wait, now if I unlock this skill, then they can get really good, even if, like, the first time I used them, they weren't great. And I think that is one of the things about 100 Lines so far that I've really enjoyed. So and feeling like you're not missing out on anything. Exactly, Tia, exactly. Exactly. Because I'm gonna be so real. I like Persona 3 a lot. But, like, the way that I play games, I am the type of person where I do feel really anxious if I don't get everything on my first go. Excuse me. But, like, this goes back to the whole thing I've been meaning to, like, get to about 100 Line. It's that when it comes down to it, playing 100 Line has really helped me get past the idea of playing like a Let's Player. What do I mean by that? I mean that for the longest time, I felt like I had to play video games as if I knew everything from the jump, or I had to be like just good at it right at the start. Maybe you've noticed this a little bit as I play these games, but I've sort of realized the solution to this is to follow these 3 rules. I wrote them down. How to not make a Let's Play in 3 easy steps. Step 1, fuck around. Step 2, get lost. Step 3, there is no audience. For so long, I've played games on my own with the sense of like someone is probably watching me play this game, which is not true. Like, aside from on stream, which what you're doing right now, no one is watching me play 100 Line except Aaron. That's a problem. Okay, well, why don't we cleanse orb now? Because I would hate for the cleanse orb to be bad. And that's why we use a cleanse orb, everyone. That's why you always bring a cleanse orb. You bring a cleanse orb and an escape orb at all times. Jesus. So, when it comes down to it, this is also my other thing. It's not that I've grown disenfranchised with Let's Playing. Far from it. I think Let's Plays are still very fun, and I think that they're a fascinating medium of the way that we consider video games. Dare we call them cinema, right? But I need people... I need people who are making Let's Plays who are just one person. Respectfully, I need them to not try to do 16 different character voices. I need them to not do that. It never ends well. You can tell that they get so burnt out. And, like, you gotta respect your voice. Like, I don't have a polite way of saying it, but, like, if a video game has voice acting, and you are one person, or even 2 people, he says, having made, like, live dubs of video games, if you're one person, or maybe 2 people, and you only have one girl voice, for example, just don't read the voices. If a character has voice acting by a professional voice actor, let the voice actor voice act. Now, granted, I know that I'm saying this having made, like, live dubs of video games, and, like, I acknowledge that, hey, I'm speaking kind of hypocritically here, but I've reached the stage where, like, not that I watch the game, Grumps, but I'm fucking tired of... I am fucking tired of listening to Aaron Hansen's girl voice. I'm tired of it. It's not good, and I'm tired of it. I don't know what the alternative is, and I don't have a better suggestion besides I'm just not gonna watch. But, like, Lucagen, I love you. Darling, please ask your wife Claire to be on stream with you. Or on the Danganronpas with you. I'm begging you, please. I've grown very weary of one person doing every single character's voice for the extent of the Let's Play. I understand that, like, that's a toxic opinion of mine. I understand. I'm gonna own it. I'm saying this too because, like, I was one of those people. I don't really intend to do that unless it's, like, explicitly for it, right? If the Let's Play is for the gameplay, I don't care about your voice acting. If the Let's Play is for voice acting, then yeah, do it, right? If it's a way for you to practice, okay, fine, sure. I can work with that. But if you're not, like, intending to use the Let's Play to practice, then, like, I'm sorry, I'm a little tired of your voice acting. Just my opinion. There are exceptions to this, and I know that, like, if I were on VA Twitter right now, this would get me a little canceled for real right now, but I don't really care. I have this opinion. It's not a particularly good opinion, but it's my opinion, and it's how I feel, and to change that opinion would require a lot of nuance, right? So anyway, all that's to say, I don't intend to watch any Let's Plays of 100 Line. And that's partially because I don't want to listen to one, maybe two people read the dialogue for upwards of 12 to 14 characters. I really don't. Like, I think if you want to do that, that's fine. And I have no issue with it as like a, hey everyone, we're going to do a stream and we're all going to do the funny character voices. Like, I love the way that we do it for After Party because it's like, we're just trying to have some fun, you know? It's like, we're not trying to be serious about it. This is not, we are not making cinema when we play Turnabout After Party, right? We're a group of friends shitposting on the internet. I say evidence, and like, I think it's funny. But when I see like internet personalities trying to do Let's Plays, and they end up doing like character voices with just, I'm gonna be so real, they're not good voices. That, like, you're not voice acting, you're doing a character voice. There's a difference. There's a real difference, and I'm tired of pretending that there's not. Cackling BC, I was mulling over this exact point for when inevitably I start streaming. Look, I think that there's a fine line. There's a balance, right? If you, like, Lou, and I guess speaking from my own experience too, right? Like, if I were to make Let's Plays, like YouTube Let's Plays, I would see either if I could put in a modicum of effort to make it something more than just, hello, I'm Voltage and I'm going to play a video game. I think this is a Monster House. Yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with that. I would want it to be more than that, because if it's not more than that, I would just stream it, right? Because that is more interesting to me. But if it's a Let's Play where I'm also providing like context and information and like it's a video walkthrough almost. Oh my god, 3 traps in a row. Jesus Christ. If it's more than that, then like, why wouldn't I put in a little bit of effort to maybe, I don't know, find someone who could also do character voices? Or voices alongside me? Like, I could commission them for some line reads? I don't know. I genuinely, like, I think that there's so much more. You could do so much more, you know? Like, look, the age of Chugga Conroy Let's Plays where he reads every line, that was a good thing in 2010, 2011. Hell, the Game Grumps stuff when they did, like, you know, some visual novels in 2014, like, okay, sure, we can roll with it. It is 10 years later, and some people are still doing this, and it's like, can we please find a way to either put in a little bit more effort to make something new and unique, something that's worth watching, and, you know, it's like that. I don't remember, I think there was a guy who was watching this PMD Let's Player who was bringing VAs to the player and his partner. Yeah, I can't imagine who that is. Unless, if that's a pot shot at me, I'll take it. If it's not a pot shot at me, I think that that's interesting. If you have, like, someone in the... Okay, no, not you. Okay, cool. I mean, like, I'm not gonna deny it. Like, I did this, right? And I'm saying, like, I don't think that it's worth... I don't think it's a very compelling video anymore. Oh my god, am I am I going to talk about the fucking Action Button Reviews LA Noire video? I think I might. I think I might do that. For the record, I had this opinion about Let's Plays before Tim Rogers put out the Action Button Reviews LA Noire. Or Action Button Presents LA Noire, excuse me. There is a difference. The video itself is a 9-hour adaptation of playing the game LA Noire, presented through the lens of, like, someone treating it as if it were, like, a noir radio series or TV show. And I will be real. I think it's pretty cool. I've been wanting to... I've always thought that the idea of a Let's Play... I have always thought that the Let's Play could be in many different genres beyond, like, the idea of the game being a genre. What do I mean by this? Like, there are so many buddy cop, humor Let's Plays, right? Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get rid of Mudslap for Dig. I think Dig's a good move. Like, you've got Two Best Friends Play, you got Game Grumps, you've got Oni Plays, you've got, like, so many little video game, podcast-like Let's Plays. And they're comedy, right? And then you've got documentary... Oh, no. Ah, damn it. That's bad. You've got, like, documentary-based Let's Plays that are, like, the Chugga-Conroys and the... Oh, damn, that's bad, actually. The Chugga-Conroys, maybe some of these, like, more informative Let's Plays that can proceed to provide insight to a game. But you don't really have... Like, this is gonna sound really stupid. You don't have horror Let's Plays. Not Let's Plays of horror games, but I'm saying, like, a Let's Play series that's a horror movie. The closest thing we have to that is Pets Cop. I think that you could totally make a horror movie in the form of a Let's Play. And I have an idea for it. Oh, damn it. They got the Reviver Seed. This is gonna sound really dumb. But, like, there's something there. There's, like, imagine doing a Let's Play. You know, everyone says, like, oh, what would happen if a small Victorian child saw this? You know, like, what if you played a game and pretended to be a small Victorian child, huh? Like, and you were in character the whole time. I know that VTubers sometimes do that, but I'm saying, like, what if, right? Just what if? What if you did a period piece, but it was... Oh, that's something to get. What if you did a period piece... but it was a Let's Play. You know, like, what if? What if? What if you were like... Oh, damn it. What if you, like, assumed a dramatic role for a Let's Play? I know this sounds really stupid, but, like, I think about this a lot because, like, the ways that we talk about games are fundamentally based on two things, right? They're based on what game we are playing and who we are when we are playing them, right? Games require two things. They require a game and they require the player. You can't talk about games without talking about who's playing the game, right? So I think the question then becomes, like, who is playing this game and why are they interesting enough to follow along with? And, like, look, that's why initially the Game Grumps were so interesting. It's because you're watching animator and critic Aaron Hansen and his buddy John Jafari and later Dan Avidan talk about video games, right? And it was about video games that they found interesting and or liked. And then it turned into, like, well, it works and it makes us money now, so I guess we're gonna just do it forever. And it just got very uninteresting. I think the boss is at this floor, right? Is it 40 floors? No, it's 30 floors. Nice. Okay. What compelled you to come? See, I'm doing it right now. It's Entei. I am Entei. I live surrounded by the fiery lava of volcanoes. See, I wouldn't do this if I was playing by myself. I shall forcefully expel you. Very, very good. Very, very good. All right, let's just, oh yeah, that could be a problem. Gotta put on the date for this one. The date? Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay. Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw this sleep seed at this dude. What I'm gonna do next is turn this off. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna straight up throw the max elixir at Combusken. Okay. Honestly, I will take that. I have a couple reviver seeds. I think we're fine for now. It's been a while since I've actually fought Entei. But I think because I have Water Gun and Surf linked, I should be okay. Oh my god. Maybe I'm a little underleveled. I would love to get into Torrent range if I can help it. I'm gonna dig. Just to dodge for this dude. Nice. Very good. Very good. That wasn't so bad. I lost. 88 damage on Fire Spin is crazy. These things are fucking difficult. I wish to make this wing a red wing. Stand aside. Stand aside. I'm Greg Chun. Now I got the red wing. Take this and go west. There you will find the lightning field. I wonder who's at the lightning field. Surely not anyone important. That's good. That's Fiery Field. Fiery Field went pretty well. I'm actually kind of pleased with myself. I talked about Let's Plays the whole time. Anyway, to cap off that thing, I think that the Action Button review of LA, or not review, the Action Button Presents LA Noire is a very compelling video, for me in particular, because it's something I've been thinking about for fucking ever. About, like, what it means to play games and who we are, because, again, you cannot play a game without being someone, right? I love this. Wobbly Wobbuffet's wanders. Earlier today, Wobbuffet reportedly wobbled the wrong way and wandered off. It had to be rescued by the famous Team Hydro. Fortunately, the wayward wanderer Wobbuffet was only wobbly and otherwise unharmed. Little good stuff there, huh? I'm not going to do that, because I can't get to Sky Tower. So yeah, when I think about the ways in which we play games and talk about playing games and all that jazz, like, it just boils down to the fact that there are two sides to it. It's who we are and what we play. And I think that the Action Button Presents LA Noire is interesting because the person who is being presented as, quote, playing the game is someone who is not, like, from our time period. And it sort of abstracts the idea of playing a game as a whole. And I think that that's really compelling for me. And so when I think of, like, what we can do in the Let's Play area to be interesting or compelling, like, why can't we make Let's Plays as characters? I understand that, like, VTubers are kind of an extension of that, but the thing about VTubers is that there's still fundamentally a person behind that. I'm saying, why can't we assume, like, a fictional dramatic role and make a Let's Play? What if Hamlet played god darn Shadow of the Colossus? That'd be funny, right? That'd be really funny. What if Hamlet played Shadow of the Colossus? That would be so fuck dope. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, my mouth is dry because my fucking Ritalin makes my mouth very dry. Side note, I have ADHD. Did you know that? I'm medicated for ADHD now. Did you know that? Funny notes, funny notes. All right, let's see. Are there any... What is it? What is it, right? Any good stuff? No. Okay. I might go to Silent Chasm, and I might... Let's see, what's my squad looking like? Do I have... I want to go to Lightning Field after this, but I don't really... I don't know if I have the levels, lol. Who's Brogert again? Who did I name Brogert? Oh yeah, it's Lunatone the Brogert. Switch those. Side note. Look at this smoke spot, right? Okay. What I'm gonna do... I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna do... this. And then what I'm going to do is... I'm gonna do... Where's that BRB thing? I have to pee, so I'm gonna set up the BRB, and we're gonna be, I gotta get the shot, though, you know? I gotta get the shot. We're talking cinema shit, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this the annoying, stupid way. We're gonna do something really dumb, but it's gonna be funny. Look at that. What font should we do? Should we do Bond Schrift semi-condensed? Yeah, condensed. What font should I use? I got a lot of fonts. I kind of like some fonts. Please go pee, lol. I will. Ooh. That's kind of fun. Alright. I will be right back. Alright, I am back. Welcome back, right? Alright, we are gonna delete that. Let's move this back down to below here. And then we're gonna shrink this back down to scale. How's that sound, huh? Refit it. That's good. That's good. Anyway, so that's my modern rave about Let's Plays, and my request for everyone to do better. You know, like, I don't mean to be a hater. I just kind of am one. Hey, weed lol. Side note, right here, I'd say this right here is a smoke spot. Hanging out on the fungus, hanging out on the fungus step, that's a good one. The friend areas are pretty cool. I gotta buy all these friend areas because there's some of them that are just real good. There's some real good friend areas, like, look at this. Hey. Hey there, Kyogre. Got me a Kyogre on my team. That's like being friends with a big famous Let's Player. Side note. I think that there's nothing wrong with making Let's Plays if you're talking about the game and then beyond the game. I think that that's a very compelling thing. I think when I just think of Let's Plays, I just want to, like, give me a reason why I should watch you over literally just a long play. You know what I mean? And I know that I'm calling the kettle black right now as I play on stream and ramble about these, like, useless things that don't really matter to anyone but me. But, like, at least I have an opinion on something that I'm just gonna share, and I'm using this as... I'm not saying this is a Let's Play. I'm playing this game, and you all are kind enough to watch me do this and entertain my ramblings. But what I am saying, and what I'm trying to say, is that, like, I don't feel the need to watch too many Let's Players these days because, like, they don't give me a reason to care. They don't give me a reason to do anything. Like, unless their game is something I explicitly want to see someone play, why would I not just, like, watch it on my own, you know? Yeah, I'm buddies with Kyogre, you know, the big legendary of water. You've probably never heard of him. Let me get to the front of the line so I could, like, say hi to him. Fucking hell, there are some people out there in the world who, like to use the fact that they know people as their, like, mean of social clout, and it's kind of annoying. It's why I, like, hopped off not Let's Play Twitter, VA Twitter, because, like, it's like, OMG, I had a class one time with Elsie Lovelock, and now she's in 100 Line. My favorite Let's Plays were the ones where the guy was playing Crash 2 and talk about the people at work or their adventures at the dentist. Yeah, like, I think that that's interesting, because, like, again, you're a person playing a game. And I think that it's impossible to deconvolve the person playing the game from the game itself when you make a Let's Play. What should we name the Teddy Ursa? Wait, I gotta look at the naming queue. It's been so long, but I do have a queue still. Alright, the current queue... Okay, shoutouts to one Seth Hart VA for this one. Wedding party member of mine, Seth Hart VA. Suggested booty with 9 O's and 9 E's. You're not allowed to be doing that. I mean, it's just a matter of, again, why am I watching this video at this point? Because if I want to watch a Let's Play, I feel like there's gotta be a reason why I would want to watch a certain person play a video game, right? One time he started streaming full-time and he got, like, utterly unable to make Let's Plays because he didn't go outside anymore. Yeah, that's the other thing, too, is, like, you have to be an interesting person to, to do shit like that, you know? Like, look, respectfully, if you don't live an interesting life, I don't really care about your perspective that much. I know that's kind of cheap and mean and hard to put into words, but, like, have an opinion. Have a discussion point. Like, literally, why do I care if you don't care, right? It's so annoying. Guy had nothing to talk about and couldn't play. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I know I would never be happy or satisfied as a full-time streamer. So I don't do it, you know? Like, I just don't do it. I also know that, like, when I was doing streaming a lot more, I was running out of things to talk about. And that's fine, but then it's sort of gotten to a point where, like, you know, I'm gonna be so real. Having people on call to join me while I was playing games was a lot of fun. And it really helped me, but it made for a less compelling thing to watch. And I'm gonna be so honest. Like, there was nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, but it led to me being a little less satisfied with what I was putting out because, like, I like being able to talk with chat. I like being able to interact with you all, and I like having that. That's one of the strengths of streaming. And I wanted to do, like, a live Let's Play, which could be fine, and it could work, and I've fucked up, and I'm going to do the rare rewind because I'm a coward. But, you know, again, it just didn't feel very satisfying. I like talking about games because I like to share my opinions and my perspectives. And streaming allows me to do that, and it allows me to interact with you all in a very, like, immediate way. But when I have a refined thing, I want to, like, make something out of that, you know? And again, that's why, again, I find the Action Button Presents LA Noire is a really interesting video, because it's, like, what if a pulp noir detective reported LA Noire as if it were a real thing, as opposed to a silly Rockstar-like video game where you can kick a can around a parking lot forever, or you could just, like, mow down people in the road, or you weren't concerned about getting hit by taxis. Or, like, haha, isn't it funny how the only doors he touches have yellow doorknobs as an indicator of, like, this is the door that you can go in? I think that that's kind of funny. I think it's an interesting video. Granted, I understand that some people didn't like it because, like, it wasn't a quote-unquote traditional review of LA Noire, and that's fine. Like, you know, I get it. If you were dissatisfied by what you were expecting and maybe paying for, then, like, you have every right to be upset about it. But I think that to say, like, it's a bad video is objectively wrong. I think it's a supremely compelling video that should be watched in a series of short bursts rather than one 9-hour-long fuckfest. Just my opinion. Just my honest, objective opinion. It's why I'm not gonna watch anyone play 100 Line. I'm gonna play it for myself. Because I deserve so. I deserve to play 100 Line for myself. I bought that game. I'm gonna play it. It's one of the rare drop everything games. And it's not to say I've stopped playing Dragon Quest III, but let's just say, rather than watching, like, another season of Amazing Race, Erin and I come home, we get on the futon after dinner, and I play 100 Line, and she watches, and we have a grand time with it. I'm not making a Let's Play. I'm just being myself. That's the other thing, too, is, like, sometimes when you make Let's Plays, we sleep on a futon? No, we just have a futon in our living room, rather than a couch. Couches are expensive. Futons are cost-effective. They serve two purposes, so we might as well have a guest bed and a... Yeah, a futon serves two purposes. It's a guest bed and it's a couch. Hey, Celio. We don't play games in bed. Our bed is for sleeping. Yeah, I mean, like, when I'm playing games for, like, a Let's Play, I feel like I need to... I don't feel like I play the game in the way I would play it normally, right? I don't feel like I should be fucking around and finding out in a Let's Play. I feel like I should be moving with intention at all times in a Let's Play. And that's just not how I play games. So I'm not gonna do that. Oh, I should have saved. My bad. These are things I've learned from playing 100 Line, by the way. Like, I've written these all down. Like, they're in my little media journal that I keep open next to me when I play games. I wrote all of this down as I was playing 100 Line. And it's proved to be very useful. Alright, what do we got today, huh? More Sky Tower shit? Oh, I mean, I gotta get this right. Where is Kecleon? There have been numerous reports that the older of the Kecleon merchants in Pokemon Square occasionally goes missing. Some residents claim he's greedy, he must be off doing business somewhere. His younger brother denies such claims. He wouldn't get free items in dungeons and try to sell them. I love that! Some dungeons allow rescue teams to switch a leader on the spot. Alright, we're gonna ditch this one, sorry. Welcome to the capitalist regime where if your reward ain't good enough, well, I ain't doing it. You know? You know? You know? Oh my! Oh, Reviver Seeds. Oh, no wait, these are things I can sell. Let's sell the Power Band. And a Pecha Berry. I don't need this Pecha Berry. I don't mind these classic Let's Plays that are basically live streams on demand, but there's just no incentive to make them nowadays. Okay, my counterpoint to that, Kurisu, is like, the incentive is make it because you want to, right? They only exist because streaming wasn't as established. I agree. I think you should make something regardless of whether or not an audience is going to watch it, and I should be able to watch something, or I am, like, at my, you know what I mean. I am at my liberty to watch whatever I want, you know? But no one wants to. I mean, like, I know people who want to. I have a friend, she's like, interested in making Let's Plays, but she doesn't know if she wants to do it yet, and I just keep telling her, like, just do it. Why not? And I have someone I know as well, they're making Let's Plays of Majora's Mask because they like the game Majora's Mask. Maybe you've heard of them. They made a fucking 3-hour, 40-minute video about Tears of the Kingdom. And now they're making a Majora's Mask Let's Play. That's so awesome for them. It is awesome for them. Ooh, I should buy Southern Island. It's kind of fun. Like, these certain dungeons only open up after you buy certain friend areas, and you just don't know. You just don't know. I should buy Sacred Field too. I probably should have bought it before I went to Fiery Field, but whatever. The other thing I should have done was just not play this on NSO and play it on my Mister instead, but you know what, like, we can't all be perfect, so... we'll live. Let's see here. 2 Reviver Seeds. Let me deposit my Iron Thorns and my Silver Spikes and, you know... I think when it comes to Let's Plays, make it because you want to, just know that, like, you shouldn't make it expecting to make money. My point is, like, that probably 90% of old Let's Play crowds now do stream because the immediate feedback is nice. I agree. I'm one of those people. Like, I think it's really interesting to see, you know, like, who still makes the stuff that they do, because, like, Nintendo Capri Sun, I watched him a lot. I still watch him from time to time, not as much anymore. And, like, you know, his videos now maybe break 1,000 views at most, and, like, it's kind of the reality of the situation. Like, I feel a little bad, and I feel like that's just how it is. And, look, he's got other ways of making money, I assume. My life, I hope that he's doing well. It's not my business to be worried about how that man survives. I hope he's doing all right. You know. All right. Thunderwave Cave. Like, I don't mean to sound... I don't mean to sound uncaring. I mean to say like, there's a parasocial aspect that can exist between Let's Players and Let's Player viewers, right? Because the idea of a Let's Play is that it's literally the first word in the title. Let us, right? Let us play. And I'm gonna be so real. I'm much happier now that my well-being is not contingent upon whether my favorite Let's Player knows I exist or not. If you can believe it, as a young youth, that was a priority of mine, to be friends with the Let's Players I watched. And I now understand quite clearly, that's not very good. I don't recommend that. I would not recommend that. Let's see. Do I want to go to Thunderfield, or do I want to try and recruit some folks? Why don't I get my money out and buy one other thing? Something stopped existing through other people's eyes. Exactly. Yeah, been there. I mean, look, when it comes down to it, I have been on both sides of the Let's Player fandom. I had someone who was, like, obsessed with my Let's Plays I made when I was, like, 15, right? And respectfully, like, they're much better now, and they're a cool person now. But, like, I realized, wait a second, I don't know if I like this. Like, where they're just referencing things that, like, I said one time while I was in the flow of playing a video game that I just don't remember saying. And they'd come up to me with these references, and I would just be like, what are you talking about? And they were like, you said it. And I was like, what do you mean I said it? It's like, you said it in your Let's Play. And I was like, I don't remember saying that. And they were like, trust me, you said it. And they said, you said it at this time of this date. And I was like, okay. What do you want me to say at this point? You know, like, I can kinda stand by it. But whatever. It's a parasocial thing that's only gotten worse over the years. Some people are fucking weird. Uh-huh. I agree. I think I'm gonna try to recruit Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno, actually. I think I'm gonna try and do that. I'm gonna start with Zapdos. Let's see if we can recruit them, hey? It shouldn't be too hard. I want to get a Swampert before I go to Lightning Field. So why don't we go to Mount Thunder and see if we can recruit Zapdos? Yeah, Let's Plays are so strange and interesting and, you know, part of our modern understanding of the internet. All I'll say is that Let's Plays, well, let's just say my future wife and I were both reading Let's Plays on forums when we were like 14. So, yeah, don't fucking talk to me about Let's Plays. I was there on something awful. Hey, look, you're online. What are you playing? Excuse me. In any case, did I mention that this is maybe the last stream before I gasp, get married. Can you believe that? That's happening very soon. I am getting married in exactly 3 weeks. That lovely lady who joined me on stream all those years back on Explorers of Sky Valentine's Day. Yeah, we're getting hitched, baby. It's great. And the reason I'm able to stream right now is because we have basically everything in line. We got our wedding favors today, or we got a first print of the wedding favors, as it were. And I don't want to spoil too much, but what I will say is that I think they're very good. I'm gonna post pictures on them eventually. But, you know, we're 3 weeks out. Ain't that a little cool? Like, I don't know about you all, but the idea of growing up is something that I've always knew would happen, but I've always sort of taken it for granted. And I've never really internalized what it means, the fact that, like, yeah, I'm 26 and I'm getting married. Like, I am a Gen Z man who managed to, like, find someone with a shared set of interests, and I did it, like, not through dating apps. I think that that's really, really interesting. I have to wonder if one of the reasons why modern, like, sensibilities are the way that they are is because of the fact that, like, we've reduced the way that we interact with people to, like, images on an app. And there's not, like, that sense of human connection that we had in previous generations. I genuinely think that's part of what it is. Like, I have no doubt that dating apps work. I know that they work. I've seen them work. But I'm saying that, like, the idea of a dating app being the primary reason that people just can't connect with each other, I mean, it just makes sense, right? Like, it's obvious. Like, you are substituting the idea of, like, just having the conversations and talking with people one-on-one and getting to know them for, like, a short blurb. It's like speed dating on roids, right? And, like, I'm not gonna... Look, it's not like I'm speaking from, like, this pedestal of, like, I'm better than that. No, I was absolutely on dating apps, and they didn't really work that well. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of inept when it came to, like, what do I do for the opening message? What do I do for all of these things? Like, do I ever actually say, like, hey, do you want to meet up? You're cool? Or am I trying to, like, message with the intent of, like, being a cool dude? Am I trying to, like, just smash and get out of there? Like, what am I trying to do? And, like, as a guy in college, sometimes I didn't really know. And then you wonder, like, okay, why are guys on dating apps? Why are girls on dating apps? Why are people who are, like, non-binary on dating apps? Like, why are people as a whole on dating apps? And is it, like, to connect with people? Is it to fuck? What is it? Is it to find a long-term partner? And it's hard to know. Something, people are afraid of intimacy and vulnerability, and it's only gotten worse. Yeah, because, like, you take a screenshot of, like, something that someone said on a dating app that's, like, slightly off color, and it ends up on the internet. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that all the time. I'm just saying that, like, people are afraid to be themselves because they might have, like, the idea that, maybe they have a thing that gets misinterpreted. It's just, like, we are afraid to be ourselves in this point in time in a digital space because, like, there's two different ways we live our lives. I like streaming because, like, I'm able to talk and express myself with words that you can hear the inflection and tone on. You know, I think that that's really important. That's why tone tags, you know, for better or for worse, like, you can dunk on tone tags, but they're pretty useful. Unless you use half joking. Half joking makes no sense. I'm sorry. In any case, my last girlfriend I got to know on a dating app, and now she's in jail. How'd she get into jail? That's not good. Well, you know, sorry to hear that, friendo. The last person I met on a dating app. Yeah, the last person I actually met up with in person from a dating app was the time, she smoked weed out of an apple as we drove to get, but I got free weed and I got free Chick-fil-A. I think I've told this story on stream once before, while playing like Fire Emblem Awakening. The TLDR is that, she showed up to the park near my house. We talked about Big Brother, like the season that was going on at the time. And then she was like, you want a hot box? And I was like, yeah, sure, what could go wrong? Because I was a little dipshit. I was a little 20-year-old dipshit at that point. 19-year-old, 20-year-old. One of those ages. I think I was 20. No, I must have been 21. I must have been 21 because I was able to go to bars. But the idea stood that, like, we were hotboxing in the car. The problem was, in her car, problem number one is that, like, I set the ages, I was, like, feeling dangerous, right? I set the ages of which I would be willing to match with to, like, 24 at the time, right? I was 21, I'm like, let's go for someone who's maybe a little older. Just for heck, why not, right? 24 is not, like, that much older. Let's not kid ourselves here. But I did that, and I matched with her. She said she was 24. She was not 24. She was definitely older than 24. I'll check the DM in just a sec. Thank you for letting me know. She was much older than 24. Number two is that she had a ring on her finger when I got in the car. I saw that she had a ring. And I'm not talking like the ones that, like, you say, like, oh, I got a cool little ring, check this out. I got like a thumb ring. So yeah, she had a wing on her wedding finger. And in the car, in the back seat, there was a baby seat. So that was good. So I was like, sure, what could go wrong? I'm in the mood to make a bad decision. And so we're smoking weed out of an apple as we're driving around Madison, where weed is not legal, by the way, unless it's consumed on a private property. But I don't think the roads are a private property. It was the equivalent of boozing cruising, but smoking weed out of an apple. And we went to Chick-fil-A, and she started talking about how she, like, recently quit her job to start her own business. And I was like, that's cool. And she was like, it is cool. My husband, like, you know, he's involved with some gangs on the west side of town, but he's been able to give me some money to start my business. And I'm like, that's cool. And I was like, do you want me to pay for anything? And she was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. You're listening to me. And I was like, sounds good. So I was just eating my waffle fries, my Chick-fil-A, on the East Town Mall in Madison, having a time, thinking about how I would explain to this woman, like, I don't want to ever see her again. And I'm also, like, I was a bit of a novice when it came to cannabis at the time, so I was, like, just sort of like, yeah, dude. No, dude. Yeah, dude. And it ended up being the case, like, you know, I just sort of went with it, and then I said, okay, I'm ready to go home. And to her credit, she was very respectful of my boundaries. Like, obscenely respectful of my boundaries. I said, hey, I'm thinking I'm ready to go home. And she was like, sounds good. Thank you for joining me. It was good. And I was like, she mentioned too, like, yeah, my husband and I, we've been talking about an open relationship, but he's still not totally on board yet. So I'm, like, trying to convince him it's okay. And, like, that was the moment where I realized, like, I needed to get out of there. I needed to get out of there so fast. So she dropped me off at the park where she picked me up, and I walked home, and I said, thank you, I had a great time. But I want you to know that, like, I've had some really bad experiences with people. She also mentioned that she said that she had self-diagnosed BPD. And at that point, I was like, this is also at Chick-fil-A, and I was just like, listen, I've had some experiences with people who have BPD, and I appreciate you telling me that, but I'm not at the stage where I can, like, do that. Oh, for fuck's sake. So I hope you'll respect the fact that, I don't think we're a good match. And she was like, sounds good. If you do ever need, like, anything, just let me know. And I was like, sounds good. So I then proceeded to unmatch her from Tinder. Because, like, we matched on Tinder, right? Like, I unmatched from her. I didn't give her my phone number. She didn't have my address. It was okay. We were okay. About 2 weeks later, I'm once again doing the scroll. Damn it. All right, I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna do that thing I do sometimes where, if I don't get the recruit, I would soft reset until I do get the recruit. 2 weeks later, I'm scrolling through Tinder again, and I see her profile come up, and it's a new profile. And the bio said, hey, if we matched a few weeks ago, we should rematch. I want to catch up. And it was like an immediate swipe left. It was an immediate swipe left. And luckily, I never saw this woman again. But I got to smoke some weed, and I got free Chick-fil-A, and we didn't get into a car accident. So I think things could have been a whole lot worse. So that was the last person I met up with from dating apps. And since then, I've never really felt like I needed to. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. I don't want to say I swore off dating apps in that moment. I definitely was still on dating apps when I went back to Minneapolis during COVID, and I found some... Oh, no, that's not true, actually. The last person I met up with on dating apps was a girl who was in my kindergarten class. But it was right before Aaron and I got really serious, and I realized, like, I was talking to Aaron a lot more than this girl, and I was like, it's probably for the best, like, if I shut this down now. I don't want to lead this girl on, because she's really nice, but I'm just not connecting with her in the way that I'm connecting with Aaron. And so, you know, we met up, and I basically told her, like, hey, you know, I'm going to this place, and I don't think it's gonna work out. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. And so that was a much less interesting story, obviously. But I think it stands to, like, the fact, like, I didn't really need to use dating apps. Alright, why can I not recruit Zapdos? That was kind of a waste. What if I soft reset? AB start select? They don't have the soft reset. No, morning, but only by time. Ooh, a time so early in the morning that everyone is still in bed. What is it? What's happening outside? Whoosh. The sound. Something's coming closer. Oh my god, it was a jet. What just happened? Toward the mountain range in the north? Yawn, still sleepy. It's still early. I'll catch a little more sleep. Hey, Marshtomp. Wake up. Are you even awake? There's some sort of commotion at the square. See, I think this is really cool. Like, the only way you would get this story event is by buying the Southern Islands friend area. If you don't have a guide, you wouldn't know that, so you're just like buying up friend areas as you go, and then like this happens. It feels very random. A stupid mistake like that, you're insinuating that we were robbed for being careless? Yeah, get good. Now wait. Oh my god, Kurisu. I just read your DM. Wow. All right. Yeah, that would end up that would get someone in jail. Holy moly. In yonder direction. The Northern Range. Marshtomp's team took on the case of pursuing the burglar that struck Kecleon's shop. The Northern Range is open for investigation. Alright, we're gonna go to the Northern Range here. But once again, now since I'm not at Mount Moonview, I'm gonna be right back again because I'm out of water. When we're back, we're gonna do Northern Range, and I'll talk more about wedding stuff. All right, I am back. I'm back. So we're gonna go to Northern Range. I'm gonna get my Buskin. My pal Buskin. We're gonna... we got some orange berries. I think we're doing okay. I think we got the Buskin, you know what I'm saying? Let's get a... not Zigma, let's get Combuskin. Yeah, so... the wedding is exactly 3 weeks away. 3 weeks and 3 hours. And I think that that's very cool, and it's very exciting. For one, again, wow, look at me. I'm getting married. I think that that's pretty cool. I had my guys' weekend, about a month ago almost now, and... you know, it was the first time where I really realized, it really honestly hit me just, like, what it actually meant. What does that actually mean? Like, I am growing up. I am getting older. I am becoming, like, I'm 26 right now, right? Soon I will be 27, and then soon I will be married in 27 and married, and then I'm going to be at that stage where, like, I'm going to be looking for a house to buy, or at least a place where I can start to set down roots, you know? And I knew that I always kind of took for granted that, like, I would be able to do that one day. But I know some people, like, nowadays, where... oh shit, did I bring any max elixirs? I did not. Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. I know people who, like, are not going to be able to do that. And I think I just always took it for granted that it was something that I can and would do. And the fact that I get to do that is something that I shouldn't just be complacent about. It's something that... it's a privilege, you know? Like, it's something that I need to be very thankful for. And I am very thankful for it. Hi, I'm people. Yeah, and it's very sobering, you know? Like, the idea that, you know, there's someone out there in the world, I met them. There's someone out there who, like me, was a teenager reading Danganronpa Let's Plays on the internet. And then, we met, found each other, and are getting married. No, I'm kidding about the... I'm not kidding about the Danganronpa thing. She read them too. But, the point I'm trying to make is that we found someone that we can, like, rely on and trust in and be, you know, people with for the rest of our lives. Like, and I feel good about that decision. I don't feel worried about it. I don't feel like, am I making the right decision? Like, I know I'm doing that. I know I'm making the correct decision here. I have not second-guessed any of this for a second. And I think that, you know, you don't... it's not always the case, you know? Like, sometimes you're in relationships and you think, like, this is good, but is it everything? Am I okay with this? Have I done everything I want to do? The only thing I haven't done yet before I get married is watch The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. Because I do think that those are movies that, like, you probably can't be really into if you're married. And maybe you can, but, like, getting into them after you're married just feels a little silly to me. Like, have you ever met a married man who hadn't seen Wolf of Wall Street, and then he watches Wolf of Wall Street, and, like, it becomes his favorite movie? That guy, like, hasn't left his college days. With all due respect, I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm trying to be someone, like, I want to mature. I don't want to, like, outrun my maturity, but I do think that, like, I want to be someone... I want to be the model of a man that, like, I grew up seeing that was a respectful, caring, and honest man. That, like, treated the people who he cared about with respect and decency. And I'm at that stage where, like, now it's the time where like, I don't have to stop being immature, but I have to have some level of, like, common sense, respect, and understanding for people beyond myself. I don't think that that's a chaotic thing to say. Like, you know, at some point you gotta be a little responsible, right? And I think, you know, I sort of realized that, you know, I'm standing off on the balcony at the cabin, staring off at the, why are you learning Quick Attack now? Staring off my cabin balcony, looking off at these trees that were like the same trees I looked at as a kid, playing video games at the cabin, thinking about like all the Christmases and 4th of Julys that I spent in this space, and now it's also the space where I'm spending the last guy's weekend as an unmarried man. You know, it's just like I observed the passage of time by existing in the present. And I'm very lucky that I get to observe the passage of time like that, because a lot of people don't get that. And I know for a fact, too, that in the not-so-distant future, I am going to be moving away from myself and the places I grew up, to eventually live my own life and do my own career and start my own family. And I recognize that, like, I theoretically could just, like, say, you know what, I actually do just want to live where I grew up, or not live too far away from everything. And that would be acceptable. Like, I could probably do it. But I don't think I would be satisfied. And I think that that's part of the reason why, like, you know, Aaron and I work really well together, because, like, we both understand that we want to live our own lives. We want to live lives that are, you know, ones that are similar to the ways we were raised, but, like, with the understanding that, you know, we are our own people, and we have different ways of making sense of the world than our parents, and that someday we're gonna have kids of our own too. Like, we know that for a fact. That's not something that, like, is a controversial statement for us anymore. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Which is, again, one of those things that, when you're younger, you don't think about that. You don't think about, like, will I be a good parent one day? I think about that. And maybe it's just because I have that parental hormone instinct kicking in now as I enter my mid to late 20s. But I think about that. And, you know, it starts with being confident in the decision to get married, right? I think that's the first big one. And I feel really good about it. I mean, the fact is, Aaron and I, we literally planned our entire wedding ourselves. The only person we have outright coordinated, or, like, hired to coordinate things, is a day of coordinator, because, like, we're not stupid. We want to enjoy our wedding. We don't want to be doing the wedding logistics on our wedding day. That is something we are, like, totally willing to pay someone to do, you know? Ooh, another flamethrower. I could teach Combuskin a third flamethrower over Aerial Ace. How does that sound? What if I did that? That'd be kind of funny. What if I did it? I'm gonna get rid of this one. That's very funny. Only in Mystery Dungeon. Only in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon video game. Alright, you. If you're gonna play that game, I can do that too. I mean, the other thing too is like, especially with Northern Range, the last time I played Northern Range for longer than like 5 minutes was when I was making a Let's Play of it when I was like 14, you know? I think that's kind of crazy too. Because I remember I asked my friend Pause159 to come on and chat with me as I played the game because it's a long dungeon and I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to talk funny for forever. And then I sped up the game as I played it anyway, which is very funny to me. That's not good. Let's check out the Kecleon shop, huh? Ooh, Max Elixir. I have enough to afford it. I am going to get it. Let's put that stamina band on there. Yeah, I was like 14 the last time I was in this space. What if I said no? That would be funny. So yeah, like, I played this game over 10 years ago. I'm playing it now. This is a game I'm gonna play forever. Like, that's what Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team is to me. And that, friends, is the thesis statement. So you can do that. You can keep that in mind. Okay. Tia says, I've always known I'd wanted to be a parent, whereas Carissa says, honestly, I don't know if I want to be a parent. And I think that that's the magic of, like, the human existence, is that you don't have to be a parent if you don't want to be a parent. But I know I would think about that more if I ever thought about becoming a parent was something I could do ever. What spurred me, yeah, exactly, Karisu. I think that that's really important to think about. There's a girl I went to, like, high school with. She is, she is about to have 2 under 2. Like, she and her husband apparently had, they got pregnant, again, 6 months postpartum, which is wild. That's something that, you know, the details of, like, the actual pregnancy is actually way more, like, okay, we gotta think about this a lot. So, that was the thing. What spurred me was that I knew I could do better than my parents did. That's a reason to be a parent, yeah. Spite? Spite! Look, we are not at the stage, Aaron and I are not at the stage of asking, like, how do we want to have a child yet? We are getting married and I am finishing my PhD before we even think about that. You are most fertile around the time you first what do you mean by... How do you know that? Why do you know that, Lou? Oh, your brother learned that. Okay. Good answer. Good answer. Why do you know that? Because your brother. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, because where I'm at, I gotta finish my PhD. My thesis is my current child. As terrible as that is to say. It's true. I think part of the reason, like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I think that's the other thing too, is like, I got 3 weeks until my wedding, right? Like, no sense in thinking, like, stuff beyond that at this point. We are so close to it that it doesn't make sense to try and, like, think much further than that right now. Let's let it happen. Right? But boy, oh boy, are we sure excited. Like, I think I really want to emphasize that despite the fact that we have spent a lot of time planning it, look, I asked Erin's dad for her, like, for his blessing, not permission, but blessing, to marry her July 2023, right? Like, I've known for a while. I've known for a very long while that I knew I wanted to marry this lovely lady. And, you know, that was a little scary. My voice was quivering. But it worked out all right. Worked out pretty well, I'd say. There are some things that, like, I'm not gonna share about our relationship because, like, I think one of the things about modern romance is that so much of people's relationship is put on full display because of social media. And, you know what? The way I proposed to her, you don't need to know that. You don't need to know. It was very sweet, and it was, a private moment, and that's all you need to know. I think, the other thing that, Aaron and I, we were on the same page about is that at our wedding, we want people to, like, have fun. We want people to be living in the moment. Like, obviously, we're not going to impose any rules or anything, but, like, our polite suggestion to people is, like, hey, put your phone away. Put your phone away. You don't need your phone. If you want to take photos with your phone, like, go for it. But, like, you don't need to put everything on your story. It's okay. You don't need to feel FOMO about this. Don't incite FOMO. We're here and we're having a good time, and, you know, there's only going to be one of these. So just embrace it, right? We explicitly, the DJ that we hired, you know, they had the option for, do you want a photo booth? And, like, Aaron and I, when we went to Laze's wedding, which was very fun. When we went to Laze's wedding, they had a photo booth, and we very quickly realized that, like, we don't really like photo booths. Like, they're not our thing. And so we decided we would rather have, like, the DJ also had, like, this really dynamic lighting system where you can, like, set the lighting to certain colors and certain, ways to create really cool lighting. And so, like, we chose that instead. And so, yeah, people can, like, take photos on their phones using that. But, like, we're not trying to, we're not trying to do the whole thing. Alright, you know what? That was a bad idea, and I'm using my singular rewind allowance on this one right here. Look, I think that they can be fun. I think photo booths can be fun if you're into that thing, but I'm not. I respect and abide by it, but I think, to be petty, there should be one photo I should be allowed to take as a joke of me attending. I'm not saying you can't take photos. I want you to take photos. What I'm saying is, you don't need to, like, put them on the internet. And frankly, I don't think you should. I think you should, like... I think you should keep them for yourself. Oh, Tia said, I tend to ignore my phone completely when I socialize, which meant I tend to have not a lot of pictures from outings. That's fine. Like, we will have a professional photographer. We have hired a photographer to take the photos, like, of people on the dance floor, if they so desire. Like, I'm not saying you cannot take photos of my wedding. I'm saying I would encourage you to not worry about that. Take a photo if it feels good. But, like, don't feel like you need to document the whole thing. That's what I mean. Yeah, you can absolutely, like, I know you were making a joke. I'm being genuine here, and I'm just being open about, like, you know, our wishes. Because I think one of the things that Aaron and I are both doing is we're posting far fewer photos on social media than we were way back in the day. And that's partially because of just like what social media has become and what it means to post on the internet anymore. Like, yeah, I'm posting writing, I'm posting text, but like, I'm not going to voluntarily post a photo of myself ever again unless it's for a very specific reason. People are allowed to take photos of me. That's fine. That's bad. But I'm not trying to do that. Yeah. It never bothers me. My phone doesn't even have a working camera, which doesn't bother you unless you're trying to, like, get the QR code at a restaurant. I fucking hate QR codes at restaurants. I think that they're a terrible, terrible, terrible modern thing that, like, disincentivizes anyone from not having a smartphone, which is just, like, the worst fucking thing. My future father-in-law does not have a smartphone, and, like, he just can't do stuff in society anymore without being like a, hey, do you have a physical menu? And, like, the waiter rolls their eyes. It's like, I'm sorry, the fact that I don't have a phone that I want to scan look, I don't scan QR codes just randomly, right? Because that has the potential to be really fucking bad. Like, you could put anything on a QR code. And that's not me being paranoid. That's me literally knowing how QR codes work. It's like clicking a pop-up ad in real life. I'm not about that. All I'm trying to say is that I think that I'm not concerned about, like, the wedding in terms of, like, people are gonna do fun stuff and I'm gonna be happy and I'm glad that they're gonna take photos and everything. But, like, you don't need to post stuff about our wedding on, like, social media too hard. You don't need to, like, give other people FOMO about our wedding. Our wedding's gonna be great, and, you know, we're gonna have a great time with it. And then when we're done, we can post the pictures after the fact if you really want to. But you don't have to. That's all I'm trying to say. That's my little soapbox of I don't want to post on social media anymore. The only reason I do is because I have a funny thought that I want to post on Blue Sky. And I want to microblog. That's all. That is it. I'm generally for posting, but I think it should be posting on a place that you have control over. Like, look, I'm gonna be so real. I'm not naive enough to be blind to the fact that if anything that I put on my NeoCities could easily just get scraped, right? Like, I understand that. I recognize that. Anything I put on the internet at this point is kind of fair game for a bad faith jackass to steal and train a neural network. I understand that. I do it anyway because I want to do it, and I think that the risk, the trade-off, it's fine. I'm not monetizing the things I make, and if people are gonna do that, I cannot stop them. Hey, Latios! Alright, boss fight and I'm out of Ice Beam. Okay. Okay, good. I do have a max elixir. Alright, let's just Ice Beam this boyo, huh? Let's just make it work. I think posting in the age of this internet is a bit of a folly, but we do it anyway for the love of the game. You know, like that's how I say it. That's what I say it. I post because I love the game. I like expressing myself through words and pictures. All right, that wasn't so bad. I mean, like, I like posting stuff on my website. I have a new section on my website that I call my favorites, where, like, any niche favorite thing, you know, like if there's something that's like hyper specific, I'm like, this is my favorite scientific color map. I made a page about it. And you can read about that right now by visiting voltage.neocities.org if you feel so inclined. And I'm just going to keep adding to that, like, whenever I feel like it. And AI can't predict what I'm going to put on there next.
How dare you steal my fine selection of quality merchandise?
You had better be prepared for harsh justice.
My sister. Excuse me. How about you tell me what you done? My voice is getting a little hoarse. She crashed out in Pitfall Valley. Valid crash outs. The meteorite. The meteorite. It hurt her by shooting the meteor down. It's like your actions have consequences. This is what I love about this game, is that the world is bigger than you. It's good people in bad circumstances. That is what this game is. Good people in bad circumstances. How foolish. Let's go and rescue her. The teleport gem, use that. Let's go get Laddie ass. Good idea. So yeah, I like my website. I think NeoCities is cool. I've used it to learn HTML, which has been very fun. I feel very good about it. You know, like, all things considered, I've learned a lot. I've learned how to do that. Now, Karisu, I don't know, chat. Karisu in chat here, she's got a pretty good website. That's all I'll say. Like, it's karisuvanedge.neocities.org. She's got a pretty good one. And you can find my page on her page. So, that's how you know it's legit. I like Karisu's, the JavaScript features. I haven't learned how to use JavaScript yet. I don't think it's a priority right now. There appear to be many others. You know, I'm like out here just trying to have a space that's like, look, I have my Obsidian. My Obsidian is my notes, and I'm always gonna be updating my notes. Like, here's a fun anecdote. Actually, I'll come back to it in just a moment. My Obsidian notes are strictly for, like, the raw information, or the filtered information. Like, if I wrote something down in my media journal or in my research notebook that I want to canonize for long-term use, it goes in Obsidian. But, like, my website is more of a filtered approach where, like, if something is interesting to me or I want to talk about it, then it would go there, you know? Where it's like just a little bit more than Google do thing X JavaScript. Well, that's true, Carisi, but the thing is, I like having a use case before I do that. Don't forget Max Elixirs, I won't. Thank you for the reminder. I like having a use case to add something to my website. And each thing I've added has generally been either because I think it would be interesting to try or an interesting thing to learn. And so, I think the best way to learn something is to have a reason. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I would prefer to do the JavaScript things in the CSS, but I'm lazy. That's fair. I think there's not a good reason for me to do JavaScript on my page just yet, besides the idea that it looks cool. You know, like, I am okay with my website looking like 2 steps above a math professor's website, you know what I mean? The raw HTML-ness of it all. I'm okay with that. I think it captures my essence enough. Let's see, what items do I have? You know what? We're okay. I think what I'm gonna do before I go to Pitfall Valley is I am gonna just do this quick Thunderwave Cave mission to get an extra Reviver Seed. And then, let's see if there's any others there too, because I think that that's worth doing. But, you know, my website's my website. It's a reflection of myself. It's neat. Stormy Sea. Why did I accept that? I don't want to accept that. Hey, it's another Tia. There's 2 Tias in the chat now. Okay. Let's see. Safeguard, finding your near... I don't like those ones, though. I could take them. You know what? I'll take them. Whatever. Actually, you know what? I don't have any reason to go to fucking Stormy Sea. I don't have a reason to go to Stormy Sea. What the fuck? Yeah, there's 2 Tias. There's Exclamatia and there's Tia Kaneko. We're talking about NeoCities websites. I'm talking about the shit I'm putting on my website. I think, another favorite thing I'm probably gonna put on there pretty soon is, like, my favorite video game soundtracks, because I got a bunch of them. No, I don't want a Poochyena. When I was a kid and it said Poochyena went away, ... I got really sad. Yours is the sickest, though? Mine's not the sickest. What are you talking about? Mine is like... It's just a thing that I put out into the world. I don't really care. I care, but I don't care. It's very, again, up until very recently, it was, like, math professor's website type beat. It owns... Well, thank you for the positive words. I find that my NeoCities website is what I need it to be in the same way that my notes are what I need them to be, in the same way my journals are what they need them to be. I think my NeoCities, again, like favorites, definitely gonna have like favorite places in Pokemon. That's definitely one. Like, y'all seen that Hazel video, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's the favorite places in Pokemon as a whole. I'm definitely gonna have one of those. But I also really want to make like smoke spots in games that I like a lot. I know that's like pedantic, but I think like I don't want that to be just a listicle, you know? I want that to be an ever-growing list whenever I find something cool, you know? So I got that. My website, I'll talk about my website now. It's got an about page, which is like very basic. It's got some fun facts about me. Has some contact information. I don't have a guest book on my webpage, and I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily want one. I think, I have my common usernames. It's kind of fun. My favorites so far include NeoCities pages I found, HTML websites that aren't NeoCities and scientific color maps. Ones that I would love to include, again, like smoke spots in video games, favorite spots in Pokemon, game soundtracks, like attack animations, I think is fun. Photos I've taken. You know, shit like that. I don't need that, and I don't... Noxious gas leak? Reports of a noxious gas leak caused widespread chaos in the sinister woods. Specialists speculate that the recent natural disasters are to blame. However, some also blame Team Kothic's training in the area for the foul-smelling gas. The answer, apparently, is blowing in the wind. I love the news. Look at this. Look at all this news. It's great. Alright, so we're gonna go to Pitfall Valley next. I gotta make a recipe for my vegan melon pan onto the website. You should. You honestly should. Do it, like, now. Do it right fucking now. I'll sell the allure seed. I don't need it. Another reviver seed. I want that. I want that very badly. I mean, I have a bunch of favorites. I think the main thing is that I just want to be able to catalog these things in a way that feels interesting to look at, that's always growing and never so rigid. I think that's one of the minor issues about blogging, is that you are writing a temporarily contextually relevant piece, right? And that's not exactly always honest as we go further into time. And so it's like, I want to have a space where I can update things as I go. Like a digital garden of sorts. That's what my notes are technically. But, you know, time to sleep, y'all. Good night. This was fun. Thank you for sharing around, Tia. It's okay. We still got one Tia in the chat, so it's all good. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you chatting. It's all good. Let me see here. Is there anything I want to do? I want to check out the missions, and then I want to go over there. But, like, you know, I got my writing on my website, and, like, I'm gonna be so honest, I still am very, how do I phrase it? I have been the type, I have written about stuff my entire life. I've just never really been someone who, like, considers himself a writer. And I write stuff, and I share it every once in a while. And people are like, hey, thanks for writing this. This was pretty good. And I'm like, thanks. And then I just get back to it. And I think about, like, are they real? Are they being real with me? I don't know. We'll find out if they're real when I come right back, because I'm out of water again, because, again, Ritalin makes my mouth dry, so I need to get more water. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back again. And about time too. I also have a lozenge in, so that'll help the throat. Alright, so let's go to Pitfall Valley. I gotta get Combuskin. But yeah, when it comes to my website in particular, I usually don't make major updates unless I have a good reason for it, and one that's very well thought out. I usually write out what it is I want to do when I add things to my website, and then I say like, okay, what would I need to do this? And that really helps me plan it out. Oh yeah, I sold a 45-euro Pokemon card. Very good. Very good. But yeah, the writing side that I put on my website, like, again, I don't expect to be, like, making anything of it. You know, like, I write, and the stuff that I put on my website, writing-wise, is strictly, like, because the motion felt necessary, you know? Like, I was like, I kind of want to write about this, and then I did. And usually, like, I'll proofread it every so often. Look, I think one of the real reasons why I'm always a little self-conscious whenever I write stuff. It's because I never had, like, a formal education in how to write outside of high school, right? Like, I've never been someone who has asked people for, like, peer review, critique. Like, how can I improve myself? I just keep doing stuff, you know? And I am of the opinion that, like, in order to get better at something, you need to be willing to have someone look at it critically and say, like, you could do this better. You do this well, but you need improvement here. And, like, it's just, it can be hard sometimes. Like, I am the kind of person who can often struggle with critique. And I just need to be better about that, you know? So whenever I post my writing on the internet, it's always like, you know, I have to be aware that, you know, anyone can read that and have an opinion and critique it, and I just have to be okay with that. But, like, it's been liberating as a result, too. Because then it also means that people will, like, tell me things, and I like that. They'll tell me that they liked my thing, and I'm like,
Yeah, you liked my thing.
and then I kick my feet, squirm, and love myself just a little bit more. I don't know. I write because it's the only way that, like, some of the things that I care about are going to be said. And maybe someone else has said them in a different way, but no one said them in the way that I want to say them. And if they have, then, well, I guess that's how it is, right? I'm just hoping that one day I might have perspective. I think that's all I want. I realized, like, about a year and a half ago, I realized I had no fucking perspective. I was defined by the things that I did. And not, like, who I was, you know? Like, I tied my identity to the things that I spent time on, and not the things that mattered to me as a person. And granted, one could extrapolate and, like, figure out what I valued based on what I did, but I never, like, had the sense to speak so authoritatively of, like, this is how I feel about this, or, you know, like, I have this opinion. If you don't like that, that is too bad. Like, up until very recently, I've been very hesitant to say anything like that on the grounds of, I don't want people to be pissed off at me. But I realize now, for one, you can't please everybody. That doesn't mean you can't care. But it also means that, like, why waste your time on being afraid if someone doesn't like every single opinion you have? Hey, here's an idea. Like, you know, maybe they have opinions too. Yeah, I don't want to be pleased. Yeah, you shouldn't. Hey, I'm Trebuchet. How are you? How are you doing? So, like, you know, I'm just trying to develop my sense of, like, who I am related to the things I care about, the people I care about, the things I want to accomplish in my life, my goals, my perspective. I'm just trying to develop my perspective more. And I didn't let myself do that up until very recently, partially because, one, when I was a kid, I didn't even realize that I had a specific perspective. Like, I just took everything for granted. And I think when you take everything about your experiences for granted, you don't have perspective. And, sorry. I'm not saying that that gives me an excuse to be an asshole. It does not. What I'm saying is that I'm allowed to have an opinion, you're allowed to have an opinion, I'm allowed to have a response to things based on what has happened in my life, and what has happened in the lives of my loved ones, peers, etc. You're allowed to have one too, and I'm allowed to disagree with it. Or agree with it, you know? But I have to make a decision, right? I watched Fooly Cooly episode 4 and took the wrong message away from it. Or rather, I watched Fooly Cooly episode 4, and one of the messages I took away from it was that to not swing the bat is to still make a decision. So swing the bat. Because worst case scenario, you strike out, but at least you can say you went out swinging, right? The worst thing, in my opinion, you can do is strike out watching the ball. That's right. Yeah. Having the bravery to be disliked is honestly something I lack. I'm always afraid of saying the wrong thing. Well, what is the wrong thing? What do you think the wrong thing is? That reminds me I need to write up my teaching philosophy. Yeah, that might be important to do. Is there a trap here? Yeah, there is a trap. There's always a trap there. Is there a trap here? There's another trap. Okay, let's just do this. Let's get rid of you. Stand still or run as you will, but don't wobble. Yeah. I mean, where I'm at... Oh, that's bad. Where I'm at is I would love it if, you know, it were easy to define me, but it's not. It's not easy to define anyone. And unfortunately, the reality is, like, the only way I'll be able to fully characterize who I am as a person is when I'm dead, right? I am always going to be a person who is growing and changing and being different so long as I am alive. The moment I am no longer alive is the moment where, like, you can finally put me into a box and say, he was this person. But until then, like, I'm gonna be someone. Hey, Sigma. It's 2 o'clock, Sigma. It ain't the morning for me. So when I practice my writing, not only is it an opportunity to be creative in a way that I feel like leans into the way that I want to be creative, but it's a way to practice, like, having a voice, having, like, embracing my perspective. You're recovering from a night shift? Yeah, that's real. Real as fuck. You were out late. You had to deal with the derby? So yeah, I think where I am especially excited about this is, like, I've finally been able to start to figure out who I am more through the ways in which I parse the things that happen to me and the choices that I then proceed to make. Now, granted, it's hard to know what a life-defining choice looks like until you've made it. Sometimes you get those. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. There are some decisions I am in the process of making right now that I think, oh, well, okay. Sure. There are some processes that, like, I know right now I'm pretty certain are gonna have a major impact on my life going forward. But I have to not be afraid to make that decision if I think that that's the right one for me. You know, like, if it means moving somewhere new, somewhere that, like, I never would have considered moving when I was, like, a kid, I gotta be okay with that. I don't want to... It's not that I want to live my life in fear, because that's not what it is. I want to be willing to let myself make the scary decision. And I think part of that is, like, recognizing that, you know, there were people a long time ago who made really difficult decisions in their own time. And I want to be someone, long after I'm gone, that people will look back at and say, here's a person who was willing to, like, live his truth even when it was scary or difficult or otherwise uncertain. That's good. Yo, how's it going? Wow, how's everyone doing now? I realize I'm just rambling as I play some Mystery Dungeons, so thank you for tuning in. Hope you're well. We're in Pitfall Valley. We're rescuing Latias, who has fallen and can't get up. It's all good. But you know, like, I want to be someone that is like... How do I phrase this? I want to be someone who is never afraid to be themselves. And, like, as a kid, I never was. But that's because the process of being myself, I didn't realize that that was even a thing that I was doing, you know? Like, I was not thinking about what it meant to be me. I was just doing what felt right. And now, it's a matter of asking myself, okay, why does that feel right? Why is that me? Why do I think that that is the quote-unquote thing that makes me here? And it's a question. It's a hard question to ask, you know? Like, sometimes you gotta ask yourself, like, who are you? Who am I? It's a difficult question. I'm not gonna deny that. To reconcile yourself is not an easy thing to do, and I'm not gonna pretend that I'm good at it. I'm simply saying that, like, you know, sometimes I keep track of the ways I respond to things, and then I ask myself, why did I respond that way? When I'm able to, right? And I think that that really, really helps me live a better life. It's all good. But anyway, that's all right. How are you all, chat? Like, what's something that you have, like, a strong position on? And, like, you are allowed, it's allowed to be controversial, so long as it's not hateful, right? Like, I will let you speak your truth so long as you are not, like, actively disparaging others. Ah, fuck Aerodactyl. All my homies hate Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl's like the worst thing in this game. Aerodactyls remind me of these enemies from Izuna, actually. And from Shiren. Okay, I have an analog. Okay, I'm gonna write that down, actually. Okay, sorry about that. I had to write down something. Okay, so Carissa says, I don't know, having boobs? What about having boobs? Do you like having boobs? Is that do you mind me asking that question? Do you want boobs, Karisu? I say that in a slightly joking tone, but I am serious. Sigma says, it takes no effort to be kind, and a lot of people in the service industry are fake as hell. Lou says, I think it's fascinating to hear the perspective of the self-identity and their process through life, as someone who doesn't really know where they're going, or who she is, and what she wants. It's really nice to hear you yap. Big unk vibes. I feel like I stopped having interesting takes at 20. Lots to take in. Lots to take in. Here's where I think I really just, like, I'm allowed to yap too, because, like, you know, I am a little cis white dude, so I think that does give me the confidence in society to do so. And granted, I recognize that, you know, not everyone's gonna be able to do that in that way, so I want to make sure that, like, if you feel a certain way, like, don't let me prevent you from having a thing. Teresa, yeah, I like having boobs, and you know, my mom didn't really want me to have them. Neither did society at large. Well, let me just say, boobs are... Oh, a troll orb? Uh-oh! Watch this, chat. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, what can we dump? What can we dump? What can we dump? I can throw these roll call orbs away. Here it comes, chat. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, everyone. We're gonna do it. All right, we did it. Where are they at, huh? Oh, Kecleon. Hello there, Kecleon. See you later, sucker. We did it! We did it! Oh my god, we stole from Kecleon. Did I ever tell you about my PTSD with accidentally robbing the Kecleon shop? You did! You did tell me that, Lou, where, like, you stole from him and then he killed you and you were like, I'm never going to play this game again. It was very funny. I never knew that was a thing. That's the only way to recruit Kecleon in this game. It's like, that's one thing, too, about Mystery Dungeon I find very amusing, is like, in what world is Kecleon the supreme being besides Mystery Dungeon? It's very funny. You still do play Red, Blue, and Sky. Yeah. They're good games. Oh, I knew you could steal from him, but the Troll Orb? Yeah, you gotta find yourself a Troll Orb. Troll orbs show up, and if you use them, you can steal from Kecleon, and it's real cool. I think, I've played enough Mystery Dungeon to know that, too. I got Spurn Orb and Troll Orb mixed up a lot as a kid when I was playing the, Explorers games. I'm surprised this was not a Monster House. I was playing a dangerous game there, chat. You stole from him in Stormy Sea? Yeah. That can happen. I think this is a 30-floor dungeon. And, like, the last 5 floors are just Aerodactyl. But yeah, no, I think, where I talk about, like, who I am and the opinions I have and everything, like, it's really helped me feel more confident about myself, too. Like, asking myself, like, I felt a certain way. Why did I feel a certain way? How did it make me feel after this? Do I have an issue with how I felt about this? And then, like, where do I go from here? I don't always follow that, like, line of thinking, but it really has helped me just, like, be a more rational, level-headed person, which is what I want to be. I want to be someone that, like, I want to be someone that people can be honest with and not feel like they need to walk on eggshells around, for example, right? Like, granted, I have some strong things that I'm not willing to compromise on, like, again, like, for example, if you're a transphobe, you can go kick rocks, bro. But, like, you know, there's some things that, like, I might disagree with people on, and there are certain things that, like, you know, some people might disagree with me about them. What matters is like, I've thought about it enough to where I feel like I have an opinion that maybe it doesn't matter, right? Maybe my opinion doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's probably, like, something that still makes me me. And I think that that is ultimately part of that process. And so when I think of, like, creative works, right? And I think about, like, what am I trying to be creative for? Like, why do I want to be creative? It's because I want to express myself. Why do I want to express myself? Well, because I think that doing so would be, like, emotionally nice. I want to be able to put my world out there because, I don't know, maybe someone can find solace in it. Maybe someone can learn from me. Maybe someone will think I'm really cool. These things don't have to be, like, rational. They can be self-serving goals in my creativity. Like, yeah, maybe I want to make something so that it gets the attention of my idol, you know? Like, I'm not going to deny I've done that before. It hasn't really gone very well. But, like, I can't deny that I haven't done that. Wow, very senatorial of me. But, like, when it comes down to it, I want to live honestly. I think everyone wants to live honestly somehow. And I'm tired of pretending of being someone I'm not. I'm tired of, like, denying who I am. I'm tired of, like, otherwise just being a poser. You know? I want to... Oh, I want to get that. I can eat an apple. I know that my life is only as important to me. Well, no, Tia, so you say that, but, like, I was a poser back in the day. I was a guy who, like, pretended to be someone he wasn't because I thought it would make me cool. That's kind of the definition of a poser, isn't it? Like, I think the reason I know what a poser looks like is because I was one for a while. When I was in undergrad, like, my freshman year, I was excited to be someone I wasn't. You know, I was, like, excited to, like, reinvent myself because I was like, trying to be someone else. And it made me miserable, and I realized, like, that's not how I want to live. You're a science genius? Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. I am not a genius. I am simply... Look, I'm never gonna take a turn of phrase. Hold on. Okay. I never want to steal someone else's description of themselves, and again, I think it's always a little gauche to quote Action Button because we all love Action Button and we all know, but when he says, I'm the hillbilly that learned how to read, you know, like, I resonate with that. I feel that. That is something that is, like, kinda true of me, because, like, look, my entire family on my dad's side are farmers. There's a non-zero chance that I could have been raised as a farming child. And that's fine. Oh my god, I'm really losing my voice. And, you know, on my mom's side, yeah, like, my grandpa got his master's in teaching because, you know, you have to get a master's degree to be a teacher in certain places where he existed. Because he was in, like, the Army Rangers, and then he became a teacher. But, like, I'm the first person in my entire lineage. Oh, another troll orb. What if we did it again? In my entire, like, lineage, like, bloodline, or whatever, to be studying science. And I'm doing so with no blueprint or guide of how to do it. I'm just like, taking the principles of understanding how to be a dedicated, like, hard worker that was, like, in my blood of farming heritage to be a successful scientist. I'm not a very smart scientist. I'm pretty stupid. I'm not a humble bragger. Like, look, I was having this discussion with Kurisu actually about it, because, like, she's studying Japanese, and, like, you know, Kurisu, she was, like, saying, how much, I haven't learned so much, but it's like, learning is non-linear, and as long as you're dedicated to a craft, and you're spending the time to get better at it, like, that's admirable, and I think that that's really what matters here. And then with my dedicated logging, it's literally because if I don't do that, I won't know anything. Like, it is my system for how I remember about 80% of my things. And I like being able to remember things that I find interesting, you know? Like, oh, by the way, we're on the Aerodactyl floors. The Aerodactyl floors of hell. Alright. So, like, if there's something that I find interesting or worth recording, you know, like, it's the whole fucking Nintendo Wii thing. Anything not saved will be lost. That's literally how I feel about the things I find interesting, right? So I'm gonna write them down. Yeah, but I found a way that works for you. But, like, it's always gonna be different. It's always gonna be changing. To be stagnant. Ooh, Thunderbolt. If I were playing as a Pikachu, I'd be like, fuck yeah, Thunderbolt. You know, I'm simply trying to... I have my commonplace book-like thing, and I think one of the things that's really helped me develop perspective is just write down things I think, and not share them with anyone. You know, like, that's the other thing too, is like, I don't tell you about, like, half of the things I think about. I'm literally still failing at a billion ways to take notes. You just haven't found it yet. I'm sure, like, if you care enough to find it, you will find it. I know you will. I know that's, like, hard to believe, but it's true. It's a struggle, it's a challenge. I spent a lot of time figuring out, like, how it works. Because, like, I've always been obsessed with notebooks, and I've always been obsessed with the things that you could put in a notebook. I've always had, like, I have a lot of notebooks, but I have no idea what to put in them. What should I do? Kind of thing. Like, I Googled that as a teenager. I have so many fucking notebooks. My addiction was buying notebooks and then not putting anything in them. So my notes that I keep now are, like, catching up. It's a lifelong journey, I think is what I'll say, Kurisu. It's a lifelong fucking thing. Again, we won't know who we are until we're dead. So let's just keep living, and maybe along the way we'll learn a thing or two, huh? Wait, are people actually supposed to write in a notebook? No, you're supposed to tear pages out. Okay, so one thing I've been wondering. Hit me. What's up? Combuskin is no longer cringing. Combuskin is free. Jesus Christ, what a floor. Look at all these Aerodactyls, dude. I read your NeoCities post regarding note-taking. And you went in depth about how you do it. Yes. That's one thing, too. I'm gonna criticize myself and say I did the gauche thing of writing about how I take notes. But I'm wondering when you do it. When do I do it? Whenever I come across anything... For the media journal, for example, right? I literally did that in the middle of this stream, right? I wrote down... I literally wrote down, Aerodactyls with agility are like those annoying dudes in Shiren and Izuna. Like, here, let me show you. I mean, this is gonna sound really dumb. Give me 1 sec so I can get my fucking camera on. Because I can't believe I'm doing it, but I'm gonna do it. Media source. Nope. Display capture. Nope. Video capture device. Webcam. Turn it on. Whoa, I'm on camera for a second. Oh my god. Look at me. There I am. Hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna make this full screen so you can see me and what I look like. Hello, it's me, your hit video game gamer. So I have this notebook, right? And you can see I literally wrote down a thing I thought as I was playing. There was a pocket of silence for exactly like 30 seconds while I wrote it, and then I kept going. And so to answer your question, I write whenever the thought comes to mind. And my brain just happens to run very quickly all the time. So that's why. Alright, we're hopping off webcam now. So, when I say, like, I had a thought, it was like a, oh, this reminds me of something. I'm gonna write this down real quick so I don't forget it for later. It's entirely like a butterfly net. It's a, I don't want to lose this, so I'm going to write it. And it can happen at any time. Like, I don't force it, right? Sometimes it just doesn't happen, you know? Alright. But I do it when the thought comes across my brain. Hey, it's Laddie Ass. No, that positioning was improper. Unoptimized. Oh, they have a hug sprite. They got hug sprites, everyone. I wonder if I could do that. I mean, all it takes, you just need like a little notepad, and you just need, or your notes app on your phone, and just, if you see something while you're watching a show, or playing a game, or reading a book, or outside in the world, and it reminds you of something, then just write it down. My favorite Pokemon. They're good Pokemon. Wait, isn't Latias able to float? Yeah, but she hurt her wing. You know, it's like, you know, you could probably walk if you twisted your ankle, but you probably couldn't, like, run. What if I'm in the zone? That is tricky, right? If you're in the zone, you gotta be willing to be able to pull yourself out and then go back in. She's psychic. Yeah. Psychic float. Well, maybe she hurt her brain. Maybe she got a concussion. Yes, join my team. I wanted the jet planes. Sounds about right. What if we say no? What if I say no? What if I say no? No, forget it. Oh shit, they're doing the... I've never seen this before. I'm gonna make a save state. Oh yeah, you can see my old save states. Wow, I was playing this a while back. We'll save over this one. All right. Okay, so it's a but thou must. Okay. I've never done that before. Because it's always like, why would you ever say no to getting Latios and Latias? Maybe... and now they're like, yay, we can join! They're cute. Let's name him, okay, what's in the naming queue? Oh, man. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use my executive authority to change this one because I think it's funnier if I do it this way. So, Latios is Scrimblow, and Latias is Bimblow. Alright, so we got Scrimblow Bimblow. Scrimblow and Bimblow. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's real good right there. Congratulations, Sigma. After years in the making, aka like 6 months. Finally, Scrimblow Bimblow is an official stream name used thing. So congratulations. I hope you're happy. Yes. Okay, where is my stuff? It's at Northern Range. Lapis Cave. Daily weather. I love the mail. I love the mail. Smeargle, the artist known for his unique artistic vision, had a windfall day as one of his paintings was auctioned for 300 million poke yesterday. The auctioned artwork was one of Smeargle's signature works from early in his career. I love the mail! Hey, speaking of Smeargle, why don't we go rescue him from, you know, Howling Forest? How's that sound, huh? But before we do that, I'm gonna do the thing again. Because I've been refilling my water so much, I need to go utiliser el baño. So we're gonna BRB, and when we come back, we'll go to Howling Forest. How's that sound? And then I'll talk more about, like, what it means to be able to dive out of the moment in the zone and then get back into the zone, and how I learned how to do that. So be right back. All right, I am back. So, here's what's up, right? Let me tell you about a little thing called thinking. First off, we're gonna go to the Howling Forest, and I need to make sure I have all my items that I want. I need a max elixir, and I need to put away some reviver seeds. So, in, like, the summer of 2022, my first grad school summer, I really fell down the rabbit hole of personal knowledge management systems. That is, I got really big into thinking about how I capture ideas, process them, and turn them into something. Granted, I don't think about that nearly as much now, but I do think that there are a lot of things I learned from falling down that rabbit hole that have made me a more, like, practical person. For one, the people who are involved in personal knowledge management systems, a lot of them are grifters. A lot of them are people who are like, oh, you can optimize and maximize your productivity by using this app or this process. And it's like, I don't really agree, buddy. I think that, you know, what you're talking about sounds like a little shady to me. For example, the thing that Obsidian leans really well into is this knowledge management system called the Zettelkasten. It is a system of atomized notes that allows you to sort of keep ideas in their most basic form. So that way you're not cluttering up a note with any other ideas. If you have other ideas, just make a new note, you know? And so I thought that was really cool. And the way that the Zettelkasten came to be was that it was this one guy, he just had a bunch of index cards that he just kept in a drawer. And he'd just continuously use them, or like add new things to them and link them up. And I thought that was neat. And I liked Obsidian for that, because Obsidian seemed like a natural way to do that, because you can just make markdown files wherever, they're super lightweight, and then you don't even have to worry about, like, you know, the fact that, like, physical media is hard to manage sometimes. And I was like, okay, but what, just for fun, what if I were to, do, like, an analog version of this rather than a digital version? Because I think there is merit to writing things out as opposed to typing them. And what I found is that there's an entire community of people dedicated to doing that, under the guise of, like, you know, like, hey, the guys in the past, they all did it this way, so why don't we all do it the way that they used to do it? Now, I don't know about you, chat, but to me, that sounds like a little bit of a red flag. There's one guy out there in particular, and I'm gonna say his name because I don't care. He's an alt-right grifter. His name is Scott Shepper, and he wrote a book called The Antinet, which is the analog Zettelkasten, and the process of doing that, right? Look, Antinet Zettelkasten, he wrote a fucking book, right? It's called, let me make sure I get the title right so I can tell you why you should not use it. It's called Antinet Zettelkasten, a knowledge system that will turn you into a prolific reader, researcher, and writer. And at the time, I saw this and I was like, okay, this sounds like a snake oil, like, optimize your workflow with 3 easy steps. And I was like, you know, I've made it to grad school. I know that learning is not a linear process, one-size-fits-all kind of thing. So when I read that, I was like, I don't know. And the merit that Shepper claims is that by using his Antinet Zettelkasten, which he was able to write the book, and his Antinet Zettelkasten basically is an entirely analog, written on cards of paper, stored in a tiny little drawer at his desk, kind of knowledge management system. And look, if that works for him, who am I to tell him no, right? Who am I to say, no, you should use digital? I've ranted about this actually on a Mega Man Battle Network stream. I'm gonna do it again because I think it's fun. And so I read his like little post. He posted about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna maintain an open mind. Maybe there is some merit to writing things down. And I do think that there is some real merit to writing as opposed to typing. For me, it works very well. However, Mr. Shepper is a bit of a grifter. And I'll explain why. His book, he claims he wrote it with his method of anti-net Zettelkasten. The problem is that it is one of the worst written books I have ever seen. Like, he repeats himself. It's like he just took every note card that he had written and then just like slapdashed it into the book and called it a day. That's not how writing works, pal. That ain't how it works. And it's objectively very poorly written. And I gotta say, like, I have read other people's reviews of it as well, and they say, quote, like, you know, they're one of the things that they say is like, it's just, he talks about how he sent a lot of emails to launch the book and like, oh yeah, he did this because he read this, and it's just so repetitive. It's so bad. He talks about like neo-intellectualism, and I just cannot abide by that. It's like he's talking about being a smart guy and not he's a lot of talk and not a lot of demonstration of it. It's self-congratulatory. It's over-verbose. It is like repetitive, like mad. It is one of the strangest things I have seen anyone like attempt to advertise for the sake of like attempting to demonstrate that they know what they're talking about when they clearly don't know what they're talking about. And like, the best part is that there's an entire subreddit dedicated to this, right? Neo-intellectualism is just the idea of like anyone in the modern age of like tech bro, like saying that they're smart, philosophizing on the things that they think are relevant or matter, when in reality, like, they don't know fucking shit. You know, it's like the modern intellectual tech bro as you think of them, which I think is very funny that Shepard's like an analog kind of guy, but he fills the entire niche of the tech bro businessman. It's kind of funny. Not that I'm saying one thing or another. All I'll say is that Scott Shepard literally made a post on Twitter saying, reject the digital, it's like modern digital communists and embrace the tradition of writing by hand. And if that ain't a dog whistle, I don't know what is. So, let's just put it this way. Trust me when I say, there are a lot of grifters in the knowledge management system. And I happened upon one. Oh, hey, chat, what does this spell backwards? So I fell down the rabbit hole of personal knowledge management system. And maybe calling it a rabbit hole is disingenuous, because it is really helpful to look at all of these people who are thinking a lot and see how they organize their thoughts. I don't know if I could read that fast. You don't need to. You really don't need to. It was a D's nuts joke, don't worry. And so, like, to see how other people think has given me perspective on how I want to organize my thoughts and what works well for me. And so, going back to your question, Kurisu, the idea of like, well, when do you do it? I need to emphasize that, like, all of my knowledge management, it's not all in just one place, right? Like, I have a lot of different notebooks. I have a lot of different spaces where, like, I do thought capture. I was literally out on a run and I had a thought, so I opened Snapchat and just recorded myself talking. It's fine. You're good. And so, like, that's the thing. They can happen anywhere and at any time. And that's why I like Obsidian, because it's a digital space that I can sync across multiple devices. And that's also why I think Scott Shepard's analog anti-net, hey, if it works for someone that isn't about, like, the fucking alt-right grift that he's on, then cool. I have written stuff down on note cards. I've tried it. it doesn't really work for me. I am a big fan of Obsidian because it's fundamentally parsing Markdown text files, and I'm willing to pay the little extra to sync my files. Because it is that important to me. And it is that useful. I think you should decide for yourself what methods are most meaningful to you. Because another thing that's relevant in the personal knowledge management system that goes again back to the idea of a grift is that there are so many people who think that why take notes on anything if you don't eventually plan to do something with them? They call it the collector's fallacy. I somewhat believe in that, but I also think that you never know what you're actually going to need until you get to a point where it's going to be relevant. Now, granted, that is a hoarder's mindset, but when it comes to knowledge and like cool anecdotes, dude, I'll hoard those for days. Are you kidding me? How much is Obsidian? It's free. It's free to like use, and then if you want to get some extra features, you pay either on a monthly basis, or I think you can just buy a lifetime version. Excuse me. In my Let's Play of this, I got fucking cornered in this dungeon on the 20th floor because Snorlax is up here. But like, you know, I find that the collector's fallacy is kind of a joke sometimes because like, sometimes I like to just have these stupid things that I talk about. Yeah, I think, Myth, if you've been thinking about using it, you never got around to using Google Docs. I think the one thing that I like Obsidian more than Google Docs is because that Obsidian, I can link between documents, and that really helps out. You have piqued my interest. I think it's worth trying out. Just try it. You don't need to like, you cannot build the Library of Alexandria in a day. It took a very long time. Oh, I think this is one of my favorite scenes in the game, by the way. Yay, we got Smeargle. Alright, the nickname for Smeargle is... Oh, this is actually very funny. It's not gonna fit, I don't think, but it is very funny, given everything. I'm gonna skip some letters. It's Catholic coded. Alright. That was a name in the queue. That was a real name in the queue. So we got Smeargle. I think that scene is one of the most important scenes in this game. Schmergle, yeah. Schmeargle. Anyway, to go back to the idea of, like, personal knowledge management, the idea is that there is no one way to do it, and to have anyone say, like, oh, thinking is best done this way is such a dangerous fucking thing. Because, again, going back to the idea of Scott Shepherd, he's like, oh, you actually have to read this text instead of this other text because the older texts know best, because that's how they did it before. And it's like, those people did not have the tools that we have today. Yes, the methodology might provide some meaning and guidance, but fundamentally, you can't just say, like, how we did it before was better than how we do it now. And when we're talking about thinking and personal knowledge management, is just so dangerous. And it's why, like, those spaces, given that they're so focused on, you know, having ideas and the idea of productivity as, like, your metric of success, like, I think that that's so bad. I think that that's really bad. I like keeping notes because things are interesting to me, not because I'm trying to, like, make a ton of shit. It sure helps that I make a ton of shit. Hello! Yes, please. I am unknown, nonetheless. Hang on. I may be unknown, but nonetheless, I am an artist. Alright. There's a very specific flag I want. I think you have to do a mission for it to change. Whatever. Language isn't something that's stagnant, and it's always changing. Yeah, exactly. And I think that so many of these, like, productivity grifters are trying to make you believe that, like, the way you're doing it is bad, and you need to overhaul everything. And I really disagree with that. I think that, look, if you can be successful in whatever your metric of success is by doing something and adapting it to a way that makes you feel good about doing it in the process, like, just do that. You can always, like, try and incorporate new things and experiment in like, safe spaces. As long as you're not, like, trying out something new in the same way that you're, like, your job is on the line, then, like, you know, experiment. Let yourself fail in a way that is, like, not so dramatic. So anyway, personal knowledge management. Whenever I have an idea, I just sort of get... I get something written down and move on. Because I know that, like... It's like putting, it's like a butterfly net. It's like a fish net, you know? You put a fish net out, and then you might catch a fish. Versus if you just use your hands, you won't be able to catch all the fish. Same idea. Same idea applies. Yeah. People have their own way of writing and doing things as long as they're happy with it. If you are not, then try different ways. Exactly. Exactly, Myth. Voltage. So with Sacred Stones, when do I get another Archer? I'm at chapter 12, and I want to snag Marissa. Because you got Namie, right? Let's see. What route are you playing? I'm gonna drink some water. Because that does make a difference, Sigma. Hydrate or dihydrate, exactamundo. You're playing Ephraim? So probably not for a bit, because one of the archers you'll get, if you played Erica's route, you'd get them sooner. Alright, so we did the Northern Range and Pitfall Valley. Let's see. Now I could try and recruit another bird. That might be good to do. What if I did Moltres? Maybe I can get Moltres, huh? Yeah, Namie stinks. Namie is not good. No offense to Nabi, but she's kind of bad. You've been using Loot and Tana. Oh shit, I didn't want to have Combuskin on my team for this. You'll get some long rangers. You'll get some. Like, the reason... Okay, and I think, the reason I can say this, too, is because, the other thing about taking notes about games or TV shows or movies is it forces you to actively engage with the media, right? Like, if I'm taking notes on something, I'm paying attention. Compared to, like, if I'm not taking notes, I'm maybe a little bit more passively doing so. Like, right now, I'd say I'm passively playing this game, aside from, like, if a thought crosses my mind, so be it. Oop, it's raining. Yeah, it's raining out here for me, too. We got a lot of rain. So, I think that having a place where you can have a repository of, like, the ideas you've had or the thoughts you've had, you never know when something might be meaningful. Marissa's good. She's a good sword fighter. I like Marissa. Yeah, and so like my note-taking in Obsidian, what I post on my website there, because I have a website and I have my Obsidian website, which like if you know where it is, you can find it. If you don't know where it is, I'm not telling you where it is. Go be a curious individual. The magic of it is that I will just have those forever because I've backed them up, and I just keep backing them up. Like, yeah, paper has been demonstrated to last for 200 years. Digital media, we don't know how long that's gonna last, but I can at least say that, like, I've got my digital media notes on many different places, so in my lifetime, I should be able to have this just forever. That's pretty cool. I'm a knowledge hoarder. What can I say? Ewan is a trainee character, yeah. Yeah, it's not easy, but it's worth it. Marissa's good. It's very good. Anyway, so my website is kind of where I would like filter anything that I put in my Obsidian that I think is worth talking about that's just like kind of random. And then I also use it for my research when I've reached a state where like I have something that I think might be worth eventually using later for like maybe it's a publication. I'll write up like a section about what kind of work it was or what did I do or like what makes me feel so good about this particular thing if I'm going to canonize it into a thing that might go into my thesis later. So I think a lot about thinking, and I could talk about it for a while. I never, ever want to give off the impression that I'm like this guy who defines himself by the things he thinks about. I don't want to be defined as a fucking intellectual. I'm just a guy who likes to think. And if that makes me an intellectual, then like, I'm never going to assume that label because that makes me sound pretentious and that's not... I don't think for the sake of like, thinking, right? I think because I want to say something. I want to know what I want to say. I'm never gonna be like, oh yes, hi, my money, I make my money by thinking. Well, yeah, of course I make my money by thinking. I do research. That's what thinking is. What I'm trying to say is like, don't ever say that like I'm a thought leader just because I fucking know how to take notes. That's lame and boring and stupid. Idolize someone because of their works, not because they can think good. This is also why you shouldn't fucking... People who like Jordan Peterson are stupid. Dude, you like Jordan Peterson because he told you to clean your room and eat 3 square meals? Okay. I don't like him because my dad taught me how to clean my room and eat 3 square meals. I don't want to hear it from you, Buster. Yeah, I gotta say it. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is, like, so much easier because there are Pokemon in it. Really interesting. This will be a chapter in the thing. I don't like Jordan Peterson because he's a goddamn shithead fucking fascist loser motherfucker. And I think he should go away. I think people who idolize him fundamentally have never understood what it means to, like, have a modicum of self-sustained, like, self-reliance, and they need to be told everything about what they need to do because fundamentally they couldn't be taught that, hey, actually, it's good to have some discipline in your life. And you can be disciplined without hating minorities, without being a fascist, without being a goddamn loser. In fact, building some discipline might actually make you less of a loser. Does anyone know if your partner comes in normal Pokemon in the post-game and later games? Yes, once in Explorers, once you clear the post-game story, then yes, your partner also becomes a regular-ish Pokemon. I'm gonna save that for Combuskin. That bothered me, that became a Bible Thump, Chikorita Bible Thump, yeah. If you like Jordan Peterson, I'm so sorry. You might want to go to a doctor. I'm not even going to pretend to try and make excuses for you. I think that if you like Jordan Peterson, you should probably, like, really reevaluate your goals in life. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you like him, why? Why do you like him? Because he told you how to live a life? Or is it because you just never understood the potential of, like, your own innate self-worth? Your intrinsic being is better than what he is trying to sell you. God damn it. Maybe consider the fact that, like, the people who are trying to sell you self-help are, like, the same people who make lots of money on lying to people. Alright, well, I didn't get Moltres. What else can I do here, huh? I go to Lightning Field. I can evolve! Let's evolve! Dude, I sound like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. right now.
There's the autism vaccine, and they don't know. They'll never play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. We have to get rid of Reviver Seeds. The Reviver Seeds are making our Pokemon worse. They are... If you use Reviver Seeds, you will never go to Tidy Woods. You'll never take a rescue mission from the Pelipper Post Office. You'll never go into Makuhita Dojo. Reviver Seeds are the bet. We're gonna look for other ways to revive Pokemon. And we're gonna do it by considering natural alternatives that we did before. And we're gonna do that by starting with Oron berries. Did you know that if you spend money on Oron berries, you can actually see the future?
No, for real. My voice is getting worn down. Send me to a fucking happiness wellness camp, fucking Robert. I dare you. Come and take me away. Because when you do so, you're going to be taking one of the world's experts on nuclear engineering and radiation detection with a focus in cadmium zinc telluride radiation detectors, which are going to keep people safe. Don't vocal fry my voice. It's okay. I have a lot of things that I can use to recover, and I'm also, you know, I'm not at a state where I'm at a problem if I'm not straining my voice by talking like this, but I do appreciate the concern. I will likely be wrapping things up soon so that I don't hurt myself. I appreciate your concern. In any case, I think that when it comes down to it, just be a smart person. And when I say a smart person, I mean have a modicum of critical thinking. Like, unfortunately, the world is full of noise. The world is full of noise that we have to deal with now. And you have to ask yourself, like, if someone is claiming that you are being deceived, be a critical thinker. Critically assess what I'm even saying to you. Like, don't take me at like face value. Like, genuinely spend time yourself thinking about what you care about and what you want to get out of life. And then ask yourself, like, is what I am saying, is what Voltage is saying, like, in line with my personal values? If so, cool. If not, cool. So, with that in mind, I do think that I'm at a good place to stop for today. But I really appreciate you all tuning into a stream here and watching with me, because it's fun. I have not had this much fun just fucking around. Oh shit, I gotta fucking do this shit. Okay. One sec. I'm going to be back later. We're not gonna raid anyone. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for the stream. Bye-bye.